and gentlemen, you know what it is. Let's go. Can you count it? Can you think of it? Of course. When I think of the goodness of Jesus and all he has done for me, I don't think of, I don't think of, I don't think of. You didn't try count up, I don't think count up. You didn't try count up, I don't think count up. He's my teacher.
Okay. Goshen, I think we can go.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Problem. Good day, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining across the globe. So to kickstart the event, I would like someone to give us an opening prayer, just like 30 seconds, but it doesn't have to be very long, just like a short prayer, you know. I don't know who is kind enough to do that for us. Anybody?
I can do this.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Father, we thank you for today. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity for us to, discuss about things that would not only impact our lives, but the lives of several others. Lord, we're asking that you guide the discussions today. We ask that for those who are meant to be on this platform with us, we ask that you hasten their steps. We ask that, Father, Lord, at the end of this event, we'll have the focus to glorify your holy name. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful and succinct prayer. Without much further ado, I would like to give the hosts, Mercy, or getting the floor to open this event. Mercy, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Goshen. Yes. So, good morning, everyone. Good evening. Yeah. From anywhere we are joining, and we'll be having our African-wide discussion program today, and for the undergraduates and prospective undergraduate students. So this event is meant to shaping our perspective as regards life, see things from different angles and see how we can, inculcate that into our daily life activities and all that. So it promises to be great anyways. And we have our speakers here who are meant to give answers to some of our questions that might be bothering us. It could be academics, health, or, anything. But I feel, yes, we have speakers that can, give answers to anything that might be bothering us. So we should be open to learning and expect the best from this event. So, and it promises to be great anyways. And I actually welcome everybody to this event. And let's, be open-minded, learn. If you have your papers, your pen, you can write, because some of these things you might want to go back to them after the event to see where you need to adjust in any, to make some adjustment. Let me put it that way, to see if there's any
adjustment. We're at a critical point in the course now, because we have two paths that are going to diverge. Now, don't worry. These two.
Joshua, go on, please could you mute yourself?
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you. I welcome everybody. I welcome you all. So let's be relaxed and be open-minded. I will say that, and the best is yet to come. So if
thank you very much, Mercy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mercy. And before we proceed, I'd like to introduce myself once again and my colleague who would be co-hosting this event with me. My name is Goshen. I'm from Nigeria. Just a brief about me, I'm currently doing my master's in biotechnology at the University of Nottingham. I'm very much passionate about scientific research, impacting students and all. And I'm super excited to be here. You know, I got the opportunity to read some of the questions that, like, from the Google Doc that some of our attendees have, and I must say, I can't wait to hear, you know, our speakers actually, you know, sharing their experiences to address some of all these questions. And I can't wait for you guys to have a clearer vision of whatever thing that might be bothering you in the area of career development, growth, academics, and everything in between. So I'd like to call my colleague, Faith Ayomide, to introduce herself. She's a very fantastic person, and I want to give her the honors and to give a brief introduction about ourselves, about Graph and so on. Faith, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you might be watching me from. I am Faith Ayomide, and I am a health educator and a preventive healthcare specialist. So it's a great honor to share the same platform with amazing people present here today. And I can assure you that you are going to get the very best out of these events. And I want you to put your mind to it. I want you to get your pen and your jotter, jot down things that, you know, will inspire you, will impact you to make better changes. And also make sure you send out the link to your friends so that they would also benefit from this program. So let's get on the right and stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you so much. You didn't mention that you are doing so many things on LinkedIn and doing so many things as a student at AAE. So, let's not shy away from, you know, our achievements and all that, but it's fine. So, like, to move forward, like, we're gonna be doing like a short biography of our speakers. For today, we have two solid people coming to talk to us, and I don't know if I have the honor to introduce the first speaker. That is the person of Opelo Apachero. So, like, let me just briefly read his biography. So Opelo is a committed and dedicated researcher who has always had a passion for the sciences. He graduated with a first-class degree in microbiology and overall graduate student from the Redeemers University, Nigeria in 2016. At present, he is a PhD student or graduate assistant in microbiology at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland. He was 2 times national champion of the Nigerian Olympiad Biology and represented the nation twice at the International Biology Olympiad in Singapore and Taiwan. Opolo is passionate about community and nation building through youth empowerment. He believes that the youth is the strength of every society. And as his contribution to youth empowerment, he mentors students across the globe and trains them on how to reach the top of their chosen career path. He is the founder and initiative of the Achievers Network, a forum set up to connect outstanding and aspiring professionals locally. Thank you so much, Opolo, for accepting this invitation to speak to our guests, our attendees, rather. I've followed Opolo on LinkedIn, and I must say, like, he's an icon, right? Like, he's someone you want to keep tabs on. You know, sometimes when you look at people that have made it in life, you can just aspire from far and try to shape your experiences around there. And Opolo is one that you want to emulate in all aspects. Thank you so much, Opolo, once again. I would hand over the floor to my colleague, Faith, or Mercy, as the case may be, to give the biography of the other speaker.
Okay, Faith. Faith, can you go on to that? Emmanuel.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll be giving the biography of Emmanuel Unduka. Emmanuel Unduka is a 400 level chemical engineering student at the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. a co-founder of Hem Africa, a brand ambassador of Happy Vibes Services, Hash Grade, and Brewage Hairlight Business School. He's also an affiliate with Binance. He believes young people have the capacity to do exploits, create impact, and accomplish daring tasks no matter their age or background. The LinkedIn superstar and Gen Z leader is blazing the trail and inspiring thousands of people, both old and young, to greatness. He has received recognition like the most influential LinkedIn personality of the year 2021 by British Plus, the Young Influencer of the Year 2021 TIBA Awards, 30 LinkedIn Top Voices in Tech, and Top 50 African Influencers by Engati. Also, he's known as the Elumelu Boy after being personally invited by Tony Elumelu for his mentorship session. That event has caused several ripple effects, one of which is making him the undergraduate with the largest professional network in Nigeria. He's also passionate about the development of Africa. Hence, he co-founded M Africa, a movement aimed at revolutionizing a sector at a time. He is the president of the Gen Z, and it's a great honor to read this biography because Emmanuel Munduka, he has been a great icon on LinkedIn. He has been an inspiration to so many people, not only undergraduates, not only professionals, almost everybody. And I can't forget his watchword or slogan. It says, he's here to inspire, not to impress.
Not to impress, exactly.
Yes. Nothing ovation. Make welcome.
I don't know if he's here. I don't know if he's here.
Yeah.
He's here, right? I mean, like, it's really an honor to be on the same call with Emmanuel Duka. You know, it's just a testament to the fact that you can actually, you know, make it in life at a very young age. So you don't really have to say, okay, I can't make it because I'm young. I can't make it. You know, your dreams can start actualizing at a very young age, and is a testament to that fact. So
good evening, everyone.
I think
hi, Emmanuel.
we should let you speak.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to like ask Emmanuel to briefly, you know, tell us the story. You know, how it has been so far as an grad student. You know, how he was able to, you know, make headways. You know, make huge success in his career path. You know, sometimes I feel like, you know, I know Emmanuel to be an engineering student, yeah. So like, I want to ask him a question too. Like, does he think he's gonna make a career switch? You know, because I see he's doing a lot in medicine, and you know, and I feel like, do you think engineering? You want to switch from engineering, or you would still, you know, do something with engineering, you know, or it's a total switch for you, or you found, you know, a new path? How is it going to be for you? Because you're doing so many things for Africa. You've founded, you know, an organization already. And do you think you're going to work in the engineering sector, or how is it going to be? You know, kind of tell us.
You want me to answer that question now?
No. It's just something I want you to answer at the very end. You know,
okay.
just don't forget.
Okay. So first of all, apologies because I don't know, they've been light since morning, then almost time for this and they took the light off. So I'll not be able to show my beautiful face.
That's fine.
So just bear with me. And it's a pleasure for me to be here. So when Faith was reading my biography, I was like, I heard president of Gen Z. I was like, where did I write
down? Yeah, actually did the Gen Z, you know. Everybody's tapping inspiration from you one way or the other.
But that was beautiful. Like, I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, it's a pleasure for me to be here. And I'm always happy when I'm in the midst of young folks like me, people that are eager to make positive impact in their society, people that want to make a difference, people that want to stand out and be the best and get the best out of their life. So it's always a pleasure for me to share my story. And I'll be sharing my story once again for those that don't really know how everything happened and how I got to this position or to where I am now. So I hope everyone can hear me clearly. I'm guessing so.
Definitely.
Okay. So like I've been introduced, I'm Emmanuel Nuka. So fun fact, I'm the first child of 6 siblings, of 6, yeah. So, and first child, first son. I'm coming from a modest background, and because of, I was able to understand quite early, that's at 19, of the responsibility I had ahead of me if I was to eventually graduate out of school, like getting to train my other siblings, and training my parents, I mean, taking care of them and stuff like this. So I was like, okay, instead of waiting to that point, why don't I start doing something now? Why don't I do something differently? Why don't I build something that I was going to leverage even once I was out of school? Why don't I take responsibility for my life now? So that was the thought process I underwent at that moment. And so during that period, I think came the COVID lockdown. So I was really doing a whole lot of inside work, trying to like answer a whole lot of questions. Who is Emmanuel Luka? What's my purpose? What do I want to be in life? Stuff like that. So yeah, thanks to COVID, so I know I did small thing there. So yeah, it was a time of sober reflection and real questioning. I had to sit myself down and ask a whole lot of questions. So yeah, and when I was in a discussion with one of my coach, he asked me those questions. Emmanuel, what's your legacy? What do you want to build? Like, what interests you? What's the kind of future you want for yourself? So along other responses I gave, I simply said that I want to be a billionaire and a philanthropist. Yeah, that's what I said. So it was giving me instances why Tony Elumelu could give grants to people. At that time, I had no idea who Tony Elumelu is. I had no idea what he was doing, his business empire, and even the grants my coach was referring to. So I knew I had to do my assignments. I read a whole lot of articles about him, how he took a struggling bank and made it among the top 10 banks in Nigeria, finally made it to one of the top 3 banks. I think it was known as, is this Sterling Bank or so? I can't really recall the name. And then he led one of the largest majors of bank in sub-Saharan Africa, which we know today as United Bank for Africa. So, I mean, after reading a whole lot about it, I was like, damn, it was indeed a true reflection of the kind of person I wanted to be. I was like, wow, like, okay, this is making sense. I mean, see someone I want to be like see someone that is living my future. Yeah, let me put it that way. So I was like, okay, I'm loving this already. So as I kept reading more articles about him, I came in contact with his philosophy known as Afro-capitalism, where private organizations will invest long-term in sectors that will spur growth, creating wealth for the investors, and economic prosperity for the environment or for the society. So that was how I was like, okay, this is making sense. And from time to time, I was sharing that vision and how I so much believed in his theory on LinkedIn. So as at this time, I was already on LinkedIn. That was November 2020. And 2021 was when I was already coming up. And by 2021, we're already back to school. So, and at the time, there was hardly any student on LinkedIn. Hardly. I think in my school, we're just about 2. or 3 with one graduate. So, and on LinkedIn, when I was there, I mean, from other schools, I could count about 5, one of up to 10. So it was like a safe space for me, and I saw the opportunity. When I came to LinkedIn, I was like, I mean, this place is for graduates and job seekers. I'm not a graduate, I'm not a job seeker. So what am I doing here? I could have just left, but then I was like, okay, I'm not a job seeker, right? True. But I think there's going to be a period where I would eventually fall into this or come into that sphere and space. So why don't I start doing something now, kind of build a presence here? And when I get to that stage, I'm going to leverage it. That was like the whole idea of me coming to LinkedIn, just to share my thought. And also it was kind of hard because there was no really young person like me I could look up to. So I was a bit scared. Because I'm in the midst of professionals, business moguls, successful entrepreneurs. And so I was like scared. I mean, I don't have anything. I'm not really like a top class professional or a thought leader. So it was a dicey situation and a dilemma for me. Should I stay here or should I leave? But I also thought about the good things that I could accrue out of it over time. And I was like, okay, I was going to really stay here. And also it's a unique position. I mean, I'm young. We don't have so much of a young person. So in a way, I think I can be able to grow. So these are some of the things I have to put together in order for me to have a strong standing and have a compelling why to what I was doing on LinkedIn. So that was how I kept talking about Mr. Tony Olumelu from time to time. I was sharing my story. Also, okay, let me just say this here. With respect to the question that you earlier asked. So when I started on LinkedIn, actually, I was sharing content on chemical engineering because I'm a chemical engineering student. But it was hard for me to keep up with it because I lack experience, lack of exposure, and I don't really have like years of experience. So it would be hard for me to keep up with content about chemical engineering. So I knew I had to make a switch, and that was when I switched to storytelling and talking about my values, my interests, what my dreams are, how I really, really want to add my quota to the development of Africa. Yeah. So I made a post like that, Sha. And yeah. So when I made the post the first time, I think that was on a Sunday. Someone was like, I mean, not someone, people were asking a whole lot of questions because I meshed 2 photos together. If you go to my profile, it's there. I put it on my featured profile so that when people come, they say how it happened. At least have an idea. So people were now like, where is your bag? Where is the Red Sox? And like, why are there so much difference within the 2 photos? So I think 2 days after, I followed it up with another post explaining the differences. And I was like, oh, I'm going to incorporate the red stuff because I mean, right from when I was small, I've always been a fan of red. And when you watch Power Rangers, you want to become the Red Ranger and stuff like that. So yeah, for the bag, I now made it known to them that you see that my mentor here or my role model has already secured the bag over the years, but I'm still in the process of securing mine. And that is why you can see this difference. Honestly, I was inspired to just say it that way. So 5 hours later, he now commented on my post. And if I'm to be frank with you all in this place, or in this space today, I would say that what I needed from him at the moment was just him to acknowledge my post. And I had this idea that this belief that I was going to meet him when I was maybe out of school, maybe when I have my own business. So what I just needed was him to like acknowledge my post. But it came with the offer. And he asked me if I would like to be part of his upcoming mentorship session. And me, I was wondering who was going to say no to that. Who would say no? So yeah, that's why I accepted. So that's why I accepted, and yeah, he footed my bills. I flew down to Lagos because I was in school back then. Flew down to Lagos, lodged in a hotel, and yeah, that's how I met him, and it was a dream come true. So I have other stories and other achievements that I've done over the course of or over the span of 2 years, like to presently, but I would not like to bore anyone with that. Now,
we can feed on this one. This is a very, very, like so much soap to cut from this one. So much what's it called now? Things to learn from this.
Yeah. So
I would like the audience, like the attendees, to like if there are any question. Although I have some questions that were already like present to us that I wanted to ask you, and I feel like I'm going to ask them just one or two, and I'm also going to give an opportunity to my co-host, of course, to also ask if there are any follow-ups.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I would like to like crave the audience indulgence to just ask questions if they have any that relates to whatever you've said, your story and all that, because I know like you are engaged and you might not stay to the very end. So we want to sack everything we can sack from you before you run away. So like over to the audience, like
you can type your questions in the chat box or something like that.
Okay.
If you
if you want to ask like open out loud, you can just raise your hand and Messi would give you like the opportunity to like ask your question. If you want to type in the chat, that's fine. I feel like sometimes verbal questions are relatable. You can always converse like back and forth and talk to the speaker.
Yeah.
So if you want to ask your question by verbally, that's fine by us. I have one question here for you, Emmanuel. I will just read it out here from my phone.
Okay.
So like it's a little bit lengthy, just like one paragraph, or like I'll just read it. It says like, and I feel like it relates to your story in a bit. It says this: many of us, just like me, came from a low standard, and at first, this out of school days brings a lot of frustration. I think this person is coming from the house's perspective. So person says like coming out of school, this out of school days, like that is a strike, I presume, brings a lot of frustration towards my academic schedule. I need ideas on how to maximize the situation for my better performance once resumption is up. And secondly, I would love to join any volunteers that is working towards I didn't get this very well. Something in Africa. Yeah. So like he or she is like, the person is like kind of frustrated from the incessant in and out of school that is the strike. And the person is like, the person is obviously from a low standard, maybe from an average home. And the person is like, what can I do like to the person is frustrated, what can I do? Like, which ideas can I, everybody cannot be mentored by Tunelumeni, right? I feel like if someone goes up to LinkedIn and do the same thing that you do, it might not work or it will work.
That's true.
So like, so what can the person do like, and ideas, possibly how to leverage LinkedIn or volunteering and all that.
Okay, I get the question. So I would like to start this way. Now, it's quite unfortunate that we are having such a structure, academic structure here in Nigeria. That's quite unfortunate. It's not the students' fault, but we are the ones suffering it. So this is what I would like to say in this case. and I think it's very important that whoever asks that question takes it, or anybody here, is that, I mean, you have to have another thing outside of school, like outside of academics, because it's important.
Emmanuel, I think we lost you for a bit. Emmanuel, are you there?
Nigerian factor.
Yeah, Nigerian factor, the network and all that. I don't know if he doesn't come back.
So what this does is that
he's back.
He's back.
Hi, Emmanuel. I think we lost
Okay.
you for a bit. Network.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I was saying, okay, let me just start over because I don't know why you guys missed me. So I was like, it's important for people to have digital skills, especially in our climate where we find ourselves in this country where the educational structure or academic structure is, I mean, is next to none. Like, they don't really have regard for it. So this will help you stay afloat of what is happening in the country. I mean, have like other things you are doing that would be beneficial to you, because see, ASU going on strike is not in your control.
Yeah.
You can't control it. So why not do something that is in your own control? And what's in your control? That would keep you busy, like you've obviously asked, learning a skill that would bring in money for you. We have tech skills, data analysis, cloud computing, software engineering, stuff like this. And I think anyone that even does that, you actually, it's going to be very beneficial to you, because there is a whole lot of space, and for everyone that wants to venture into the tech space. You can also learn content writing, copywriting, and product designing, graphics designing. These are some of the things that you should do. Everything is not, especially in Nigeria now, everything is not academic high. Because if you know chop,
it's problem. Yeah, you're right.
So I mean, since we're already like out of school, this is something that you can do, and that's what people advise people to do during times like this, because they are not in your control. So do something that is under your own charge and control, which is to pick a skill, develop yourself outside of school, develop yourself, because the real world, I tell you, is not, you don't learn what you face in life in school. That's just the irony of it all.
Exactly.
You don't learn what you're going to face in life in school. So you need, once you have a taste of like what the real life is about, it reshapes your mind to what you can probably face when you're out of school. So it's important for people to have skills. In summary.
Yeah, I think the person, if the person is on this call, would have gotten that, like, it's important to get soft skills that you feel you like, and just leverage it, and it's another way to beat frustration. Faith, do you have anything to say to our guest speaker, Emmanuel? Any question? Faith, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Faith, you have the floor. I know you like you guys, the LinkedIn influencers. You guys have so yeah.
Emmanuel is the boss.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's the boss, but you two, you are
I'm not the boss, a big one.
So do you have any question for Emmanuel?
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. So the question I want to ask Emmanuel is this. I know he's a student and he does so many things. So I want him to tell other students or give advice to other students on how they could manage their time. You know, sometimes some students can get overwhelmed with the soft skills or the skills they've acquired, and they can't even balance it with the academics. And one is suffering from the other. So how can they balance these things?
Okay, I sincerely love that question. So currently, I'm not in school yet. So that's why I really have the leverage to do all what I'm doing till now. So let me explain how it happens. Obviously, school has already resumed. I mean, some schools, like my school has resumed. But before the strike, the semester they were on was my IT semester. So like, obviously, the strike was very long and I was done with my IT. Now they've resumed. They are still trying to cover up that semester and do the exams. So I can't be in school with them. I think they're already writing their exams. Either it's starting this next week. So I still have the leverage to attend events, speaking engagements, and all. So what I'm just trying to say is that once I'm back to school, because I'll be going for my final year, a whole lot of things are going to cut down. I mean, it's my final year. I have to give it my best shot and do my best to come out with the best grades. So it is important to like structure your time. What's the word now? Yeah, that scale of preference of a thing where you go for the things that are important. I think if you are trying to purchase something, I'm not an economic student, yeah, but I trust you guys get what I'm trying to say. So your academics is what is very important to you now. And so you have to give it the time it needs. And when you have probably your leisure time and other few time, then you can now fit in probably the skills you have and how you are making money. Just make sure that there is a balance. That's the word. Make sure there is a balance. Make sure that your academics does not suffer, especially that one does not suffer. And then obviously if you've used this strike that just happened to learn a skill, I don't think you should have problem like that. You just, okay, I don't really have money like this. Okay, let me just do what I was doing that fetch me money during the strike. And you're back again. So, but in general, just find ways of balancing your schedule. Don't allow one or the other to suffer. Know when to drop one and finish one. What I mean is, for example, when you have exam, that means obviously you can drop your personal development plans, maybe reading a book, some pages per day, learning about blockchain or stuff like that, and focus on your exam. Probably when you're not done with exam, you pick that one up again. So there are days you have to keep some balls. There are days you will not be able to juggle all the balls together.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. That was explicit.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, as well. I understand that so many undergrads in Nigeria are currently writing their exams. I understand, and I really want to appreciate those that have taken our time to join, manage your time. I promise it will be worth your while. Just in case you have like more questions to ask, the chat box is always open. You can drop the questions there, and if Emmanuel is on this call, he could answer your questions. If not, other speakers that are here could also address your questions, or we could also, take your questions to the next day, which is tomorrow, and we're going to address them. So without further ado, I don't know if we could introduce the next speaker. Emmanuel, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Emmanuel.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, Messi.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. So like the next speaker that we have on this call is Balua. So like he's someone I know, like I've seen his work on LinkedIn. He's in a very prestigious university, and as I've said, he's an icon. When you talk about scholarship, he's there. He's one of the advisors scholarship. And when you talk about personal growth and development, it's there. When you talk about community impact, it's there. When you talk about brain, like people that know what they're doing, he's also there. So like I want to give him the floor to briefly, tell us a story. I know he finished from a private university, and that is what like make me more attracted to him, because like in the climate where we come from in back home in Nigeria, people would be like, oh, they want to limit themselves, after finishing from a private university and all that. So like, I mean, like super. I mean, like it's amazing to see someone like from a private university. I'm not saying private universities are not good enough. They are very good enough, but then so many people when they go there, they'll be like, okay, because private universities are maybe few or the federal schools are more and all that. Like they feel like, oh, we can't compete, with their fellow contemporaries. But like seeing Okwaloa doing so great, even I mean John Hopkins University is not child's play. So I wanted to tell us a story how it has been so far. Was it because he graduated overall best and Hopkins, and things like that? And what did you do? What did you do differently? How did you hear about, like what shaped your passion basically? Like, why John Hopkins? Why that course? Why PhD? And are you going to be staying in the academia? Like people would say, if you do a PhD, you will stay in the academia. Are you going to be going to the industry? I want to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Goshen, for the very kind introduction. And thank you so much, Messi, for inviting me. So my internet is quite bad. Interestingly, apparently, it's not just in Nigeria that we have poor internet, but it's also in the US. So you allow me at times, if it's not good, please just let me know so I can switch off my video, if that helps. All right. So I want to first of all appreciate Emmanuel for talking, and just to say that Emmanuel is someone that I have admired from a distance. So when Messi told me that I was going to be talking with him, I considered it to be a Herculean task. But I also knew that it would be an opportunity for me to be inspired. So I was really inspired by his story. And I think his story very well resonates with mine. And so I will just be sharing some things that I think most people don't know. When you see my post on LinkedIn, what most people, and also as reflected from the bio that was read, what most people will think of is, oh, he graduated as the best student. Oh, he represented. But there are a lot of things that happened before that. And this is what I want to focus on. So I'm just begging God that the internet will cooperate with me.
Sure.
So because I want you to know, I am a deep believer in the potential of every individual. I believe that every single person upon the earth has the ability to reach their full potential. And so if you see my LinkedIn, one of the I put there is that I help build people to reach their full potential. That's what I love doing. So I'm going to tell you how, although I haven't yet reached my full potential, but I'm going to tell you how I was able to increase my performance as an individual. And I would really like you to sort of like check for some correlations between my story and that of Emmanuel's. And I think his is probably more relatable because I'm a millennial, he's a Gen Z, so different generations, but there are similarities definitely. All right, so I'm going to start by saying that obviously I'm Okwaoluwa. I'm a second-year PhD student at Johns Hopkins. My PhD is in molecular microbiology and immunology. I did a bachelor's in Nigeria from the great Redeemers University, the great of the greatest. And then I came here for a master's and then started the PhD, which I started in 2021. So my story begins from primary school. Now, all through primary school, I was considered to be a poor student. Let me tell you how poor I was as a student. There was a day, my class teacher.
That was like really, really interesting part. This kind of switch from a poor student to a bright student. Stories that we love to hear. I thought, are you there? Can you hear me?
I think he's trying to get back his network.
Right.
That's interesting part.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's when you hear people talk and they talk about how they were able to come back from the first event.
Who's that? Can we my
Can you use the question? Please,
yeah.
It's still not there. Is he still on the call though?
Who is it? Apollo?
Yeah, is he still on the call?
No. So spending the time. Yeah, he's going to come back. So I think we should try introduce our undergraduate speakers.
Yeah. We can do that.
So let's go on to do that because of our time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first person, I think Abdurrahman is here. Rahman.
Mercy, would you like to read? I'm sorry, Faith, would you like to read his biography briefly? Faith, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, please do.
So before Faith do the introduction, so we have undergraduate speakers here too on this call, and who will also be sharing their story with us, because we are speaking with undergraduate students, right? And prospective undergraduate students. So you want to see an example of people who are your colleagues also doing well, despite the challenges and all that. So yeah, so over to you, Faith.
All right.
Okay, I think Apollo has joined the room. But just go ahead to introduce the undergraduate speaker while Apollo is still trying to.
Hello?
Okay. Hello.
Yes, sorry about that. Something happened with the electricity here.
Okay.
Yes. I assure you I'm in the US. I assure you.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let me continue. So it's all started in primary school, right? So in primary school, I was considered to be a poor student. I was poor as a student that the teacher asked a question in the class. I think that class was basic science or basic science. I think integrated science or basic science, primary school. So she asked the question. She asked the whole class a question. And she said, what is matter? And of all the students in the class, I raised up my hand confidently, and I stood up confidently, and I said, matter is when someone should ask you, what is the matter? When I think back about this experience, I laugh a lot, because one of the major reasons I laugh is that I was so confident about it. I can remember the expression on my teacher's face. She was terrified. She was terrified. She was alarmed by the response, by the level of stupidity and ignorance, as well as the confidence to back it up. And that basically, I think it properly reflects how poor I was as a student in primary school. So when I got to, and in addition to that, let me also add too, I was also a victim of bullying too. So you can imagine being a student, being very lanky, and also being a victim of bullying. It was just, compounding effect of low self-esteem and a lot of problems. And so I didn't really believe that anything exciting could come out of myself. And when I got to secondary school, I thank God so much for my parents. The words of affirmation from my parents, it really helped me. When I got to secondary school, I made up my mind that I was going to improve. I improved, although I couldn't still get to that potential that I felt I should be operating at. And then in GS2, I think I was eavesdropping on a conversation, and I heard that there were some students who were selected from Nigeria, who were selected to represent the country at an international competition. I was so shocked by the fact that the possibility of mere students like myself, to be granted the honor to be handpicked because of academic excellence. to be funded by the federal government to represent an entire nation of millions of people at the international stage. And I remember vividly, I was in the car. I was probably at Ikeja, I think probably in the middle of a hold up. So thank God for some of these hold ups. They give you the opportunity to think about your life and your future. So I just said something at that point. I said, I'm going to represent Nigeria when I get to senior school. From that moment, that was my moment of epiphany. Now, if you check the story of Manuel, the same thing, the power of a dream. From that moment, I caught a vision. What was that vision? I was going to be the best student in a particular subject and then represent Nigeria at the international stage. So from GS2, immediately when I got to GS3, I started preparing for a competition called the International Biology Olympiad. Now, why did I choose biology? So I chose biology, not because I loved biology, because I thought it was the simplest to learn. Because I knew that I probably would not be able to master physics because I wasn't really good in mathematics. Chemistry, the same thing. And so biology was probably simpler for me. And I remember vividly when I was in junior school too, I was just thinking, one of the pastors in the church said, so I went to Hallmark Secondary School in Ondo State. One of the pastors in the church said something. He said, there are some of you that you will just pass through the school without leaving a legacy. No one will ever remember you. And I saw my life already, by default, my life was moving in that direction. And I began to ask myself some questions. What legacy am I going to leave behind in my school? Wow. And that's the question I want to pose to all of you that are listening. What legacy are you going to leave behind? What would they remember you for? What would they remember you for? So I told myself, I said, okay, your life must move forward. Though. You must make progress. And guess what? From GS3, I was to write the competition in SS2. I started preparing 3 years ahead in GS3. Wow. I remember in GS3, I would go to the dustbin. I will pack scraps of biology textbooks for senior school students. My class teacher used to complain because next to my seat, you have scraps of biology textbooks from different kind of textbooks, essential biology, different kind of textbooks. And I was reading them right from GS3. I remember vividly, I troubled my mom a lot. I would compile questions from biology Olympiads from the US, from Australia, from different countries, and I was solving them right from GS3. Wow. And so when I prepared for that from GS3, I didn't really know anything about biology, but I was just passionate about it, and I was just pursuing the dream. And so when I got to SS2, because I was to write the competition in SS2. So when I got to SS2, that was when we had the actual biology Olympiad. And it's just very interesting to imagine that a student who was considered to be average and needed to be below average was given the opportunity to participate in such a competition to start with. So even being selected in my school to represent my school was a privilege on its own. But if I may just cut the long story short, so I participated in this Olympiad, and this Olympiad, the experience of the preparation, it transformed me as a person. It helped me to identify the importance of having a dream, having a vision. The issue is that if you don't have a vision, anything goes. If you don't have a vision, you won't have control. You won't have the ability to say no. And if you can't say no, you won't have the ability to say yes. And if you can't say yes, you won't have the drive to push towards anything. And if you can't do that, you'll be living a directionless life. No progress. So about the whole issue of ASU, I'm telling you, if you have an idea of your direction, the best gift you can give to a Gen Z is to give them direction. Your direction is not TikTok or Instagram. If you give them a direction, they will be performing like an old person. If someone were to look at Emmanuel's profile, you think it's probably a 40-year-old Emmanuel. Actually, no, a young guy in his 40 year in university. So I prepared for this competition, and then in SS2 I participated in it, and this led to my salvation, my own Christian salvation. Because my character was transformed. I was able to see that there was more to life than just being distracted by all the frivolities that my colleagues were being distracted by. And so I participated in the competition. I might not go into the intricacies of how everything happened. I'll just go straight to the point. And so I won the International Biology Olympiad. I won the Nigerian Biology Olympiad. I won it in 2011. And then I was selected to represent the federal government, Nigeria as a whole nation. I was selected to represent Nigeria at Taiwan in 2011. That was not all. The next year, because I was a champion, So they retained me and they said I should participate again. So I participated right from all the first stages to the last stage.
Wow.
And by God's grace as well, I ended up winning the competition the second time. Now you can imagine the same student who was unable to define matter, the same student who ended up winning a national science Olympiad competition, not just once, but twice. And I was able to represent the country. Now, in addition to that, by reason of understanding the power of a dream and the transformation it brought to my mind, from seeing myself as an average student who was struggling with low self-esteem, who was being bullied. Actually, let me even tell you, I was not even bullied by boys. I was bullied by girls. That's to show you how bad it was. And imagine from that position to being a student. Now, let me tell you something. By the time I was graduating from secondary, to God's glory, I had represented Nigeria at five international competitions. 5 international competitions. From a GS2 student who caught a vision, who caught a dream, I ran with it throughout. Now, when I go to the Olympiad, this relates to what I'm currently doing, why I'm passionate about Africa, why I think it's Africa's time. The time now is Africa o'clock. The time now is Africa o'clock. When I traveled to Taiwan, so I was very confident. I thought that I was the best student in the whole nation in biology. So I went there. I went to compete against best students in the US, in Singapore, all over the world. By that time, I didn't know anything about racism. I didn't know anything about, I didn't even know, I just felt that, white or black were all the same, nothing. So I went there. I didn't know anything about the resource gap as well. I thought our education was the best. I didn't even know anything about that. So I traveled abroad. We went to the competition. It was at that point of participating in the competition that I realized that there was a wide gap between the developed world and developing world. We're equally both intelligent, but because of the paucity of resources in our community, we were unable to perform. Now, when I surprise you by telling you that Nigeria is yet to win a single medal at the International Biology, and we have participated for about 10 years. And let me tell you something, about half of the participants, about 300 people participate all across the world, because almost all the countries of the world are represented. About half of the participants are giving medals from gold to bronze. No Nigerian has about one single medal. Why is that? Resources, paucity of resources. There was a gap. It was from that moment that I made up my mind that I was going to do everything possible to try to bridge that gap, to try to bridge the gap between human talents and opportunities. And so this brings me up to, our situation as students. When Nduka was telling me about the electricity challenge, I was just reflecting on the struggles that we have to go through as students, gifted students, for us to reach the pinnacle of our dreams. I'm just saying this to encourage you, because I know some of you probably have not eaten, some of you probably you are watching this and your phone battery life is almost dead. So you are making sacrifices for that. So when I realized this knowledge gap, I made up my mind that, okay, I was going to do something, but I didn't really know exactly what I had to do. But I knew that I was on the right path. I got to university and I also made up my mind I will continue the same momentum that I continued with, that I had in secondary school. And so university, before my first class, I had nearly finished the entire syllabus for subjects that I wasn't strong in, mathematics particularly.
Wow.
And so I did that because I knew that for me to bring out something from nothing, I had to put in the extra, because the difference between the extraordinary and the ordinary is the extra. And so I put in the extra. And then so I was able, by the grace of God, in 4 years of my program, my biology, with that same mindset, with that same ideology, with that change of mind, I was able to graduate as the best student in the entire university with the highest CGPA for any male graduate. Now, don't forget, this is the same student that in primary 4, primary 5 was unable to define matter. The same student that has. So this is why I believe that every single human being here has the ability to perform like a genius. I am not naturally as intelligent as most people. I know, and I've accepted it. So I know that I'm not naturally as brilliant as many people are. But I have a revelation that if you can push yourself to a point of mastery, consistency, consistent indulgence to a point of almost perfection, you will be transformed to a point that you'll be surprised by what will come out of you. So this is something I think, to relate this to the question you asked about what I plan to do after and everything. This is something I really strongly think that, this is the message, this is the mindset shift that we need in Africa. This is the paradigm shift that we need in Africa. The future of Africa is not dependent on the old generations. They have, I'm sorry to say, but actually, to be honest, they have actually, but they tried. But we need something extra. We need something different. And so what we need is the change of a mindset. The mindset infrastructure has to be improved in Africa. And so after my program, I applied to Johns Hopkins. Some of you know the story. At first, I was rejected. And I wrote a letter to the school. I poured out my heart to the admissions committee. And I was accepted into the master's program. Then eventually, I reapplied to PhD programs, and I got into top schools like Johns Hopkins. I got into Cambridge. I got into Stanford. Don't ask me why I didn't go to Cambridge or Stanford. That is the story that I decided to stay back at Johns Hopkins. And so now I'm here to tell my story. And I hope my story has inspired you, because I really strongly believe that, the world is waiting for Africa. Humanity cannot make forward until when Africa humanity cannot make progress until when Africa makes progress. And there's this motto that Dr. Okedichukwu always uses. It says, till we all win, no one has won. And that's the fact. Till we all decide to pay the price for progress, start by changing our mindsets. Stop having a problem-centered mindset and have a solution-centered mindset. And start dreaming big and be bold enough to pursue our dream, because dreams are only for the brave. And pursue our dreams regardless of the contradictions in our environment. That is the only way Africa can make progress, and that is the only way humanity can make progress. So COVID-19 is a reflection of the need for humanity to make progress. COVID-19 is basically humanity saying that we are waiting for Africa. You understand? So thank you all for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Apolua. Faith, do you want to get Apolua forward with some questions?
Yes.
I have questions. That was a powerful session. I mean, I was inspired. I don't know what that was. I was really, really inspired. And my take homes were, anybody can become a genius. And it all starts from the mind. Going back to what he said initially, the words of affirmation. That is what you program in your mind. That is what you definitely become. Because even scripture says that as a man thinketh in his heart, so if you want to become something, you have to program it in your mind at first. And yes, my question is this. I know there was something that actually triggered you to go back to your text to make study. After you might have defined matter, and then your teacher was like, what kind of definition is this? So now, there are some undergraduate students, maybe they are getting it wrong, or they are not doing it the right way, or they've even tried and they are at the verge of giving up, or they even want to quit. Some of them admire good grades. They admire distinctions. They want to come out in flying colors. They want to be the best in their class. They want to know this thing. But then it's as though the more they put in their effort to do this thing, they are not getting the result they want to get. So now you made mention of you going the extra mile. So I want you to give practical steps of the extras undergraduate students can actually put in place to earn them distinctions. Because at the end of the day, even after they might have graduated, gotten their certificate, if they want to apply for grad school, they still need to, have good grades at hand. So what are those extras that they need to put in place?
How to become extra special. Yeah.
How to become what?
Extra special.
Oh, yes. Well, I think everyone is special, but maybe extra. But
yeah, you said we need the extra. Yeah.
Okay, the extra.
The extra.
Now, what I would say is that the question is that you need to ask yourself is, am I willing to pay the price? See, greatness has a price. If greatness does not have a price, then greatness will not be worth celebrating, because everyone will be great. You understand what I'm saying? So the question that the first question the person has to ask himself, how badly do I want this thing? I can say, when you get to a point, let me tell you something. For example, God forbid, but if you were kidnapped by ISIS, and if you're escaping ISIS, if you were kidnapped by ISIS, and then ISIS told you that your worst subject, which is maybe chemistry, you have to score 95% unless they cut off your head. Let me ask you a question. If you want, I guess, will you be in a situation where you just be like, we'll see, I will study this. I don't know. I can't kill myself. It's not about kill yourself. If you say you can't kill yourself, they will kill you for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because your life depends on it. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get to a point where we see greatness and we see it as if our life depends on it.
Exactly.
Right? When we need to have that mindset where we tell ourselves that, okay, that it's almost synonymous to being in the camp of ISIS, where you have to score 95% in a difficult test. If you're in that situation, if you were probably studying 12 a.m. and then you were feeling sleepy, wouldn't you in fact, you rebuke that sleep, because that's the devil. The devil wants to destroy your destiny. That's why it's bringing sleep. So I think the first thing is that the person needs to find out, how bad they ask themselves this question, honest question. We need to be honest with ourselves. Let's not deceive ourselves. People deceive themselves that they want to make progress, but they're just saying it because it's more of like, it's a cliche. It's a cliche. Everybody says, oh, I want to move. I want to be great in life. Ask yourself a question. How much do I really, how badly do I want to be great in life? When you now have an answer that is beyond your lips, but is coming from the depth of your heart, then that's your beginning for salvation. That's your first step to salvation. I get something. So then the next thing is that you now need to build yourself with the right environment. Now, why am I saying the right environment? Because the right environment provides a protection against thoughts of doubts that can weigh you down, that can prevent you from making progress. I tell you something, many people, the problem they have is not a problem with their hardware. The hardware is referring to their biology, their natural abilities. The problem they have is with their software. The software has to be upgraded. The software refers to their mindset, their paradigm. So when you protect your mindset by creating that environment for yourself, friends that affirm you, friends that look like what you want to become. Look at Emmanuel, for example. Linking up with Elumelu. I am telling you, LinkedIn is a very good place for you to create that environment. You understand? When you create that environment for yourself, what happens is that, one day when you are frustrated about the country, because Nigerian students need encouragement.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I was talking to a Nigerian lady who wants to come to US to study, who's already in the US, wants to go to school to study. And I told her to list the schools that she wants to study at. And she mentioned some other schools, and she said Stanford, and she started to laugh. That's the way it is for many of us. Our dreams are so big that they terrify us. And it's even because more terrifying because we see our conditions, and you're like, how will a boy studying at Futo or a boy studying at Futa get to the best schools in the world, where there are other students in probably better circumstances that also want to achieve that? But when you create that environment for yourself, what happens is that there will always be something that will steer you up. In iron sharpeneth iron. You will see somebody, one of your friends, like if you have someone like Emmanuel as your friend now, there's no way you will make progress. You understand? So these friends are definitely going to help. The another thing I'll tell you is that get mentorship, get a mentor, somebody in a higher class that achieves something that you want to achieve, and get up. A mentor is somebody, there's a difference between a role model, somebody you want to emulate, and a mentor. A mentor is somebody who is invested in your progress. You understand? And the way you find a mentor is by you becoming first a mentee. Show that you are willing to follow. Automatically, the mentor within that person will appear for your sake, and the person will take interest in you. So when you have that I would say that is these are the preparatory stages that you have to take. Then the other thing I would say that curb your distraction. So you need to begin to make sacrifices, certain relationships that don't take you anywhere, certain relationships, certain apps that don't take you anywhere. Curb them, curb those distractions. You understand? And then you engage yourself with the material. So that is, you are not thinking of just grades or just grades.
Welcome.
You are thinking of your end goal is mastery.
We will continue to welcome those.
Your end goal is mastery. Your end goal is perfection. Your end goal is what you're pursuing is maintaining the integrity of your identity, of perfection, of mastery. So when you utilize all these things, you understand, with all these things, any single individual, any human being can perform like a genius with this. You understand?
Thank you so
But the
much.
major obstacle to your progress is actually yourself. It's not even anyone, it's yourself.
Thank you so much for that detailed, answer. I mean, like, I know that people that would watch this live recording, or people that are watching this live recording, or people that would watch, after, would definitely, pick, one of the things from this, get a mentor. You need to want to, become great badly, and then you need to cut distractions, put yourself in the right environment, and yeah, you can actually become a genius. Thank you so much. Undergrad student that or prospective undergrad student, like, if you have questions, you drop in the chat, and along the line would get to answer them. I do have one question too, but it's a bit lengthy. It's one of the questions that I got from like the attendees, they sent it in before today. So I will just read it. It's a little bit lengthy, but it's something I feel like it's personalized kinda, and I feel like, yeah, the person could be here, and the person would go from the attendees clarity on. So let me just read. I'll try and go very fast, and then we can move to the other speakers before we get into the panel discussions and ask about and all that. So let me just read. It says, everyone grew up with the mentality of either trying to be a lawyer, banker, or a doctor. It says, I wanted to be one, but then I didn't really know the purpose. It says, over time, I saw the passion for physiotherapy in me. That kept me growing nonstop, and how I am moved to help and assist people once I see they have issues with any movement which is hindering their normal daily lifestyle. Life happened, WAEC happened, JAM happened, post-UTME happened. It was looking like everything were wrong. It was looking like everything were going against me. I applied for a program called JUPED after trying JAM for God knows the number of times, thinking that would be my last trial on the admissions journey. I didn't really do well in my final exams, and though I was admitted, I didn't get my choice of course. I think the person is trying to say that, okay, she applied, but at the end, she didn't get admitted for the right course that she wanted to get in, but she got admitted. So she said, he or she says, I don't know the person obviously, it says, the course I was given was a great course actually. And then there are many opportunities in it. But then this passion keeps coming back. I'm guessing the passion of physiotherapy or something like that. It says, but then this passion keeps coming back. And at some point, I just get really confused on what to do about it. I have tried so hard to improve my grades in this course, industrial chemistry. I think this is the new course we gave to the person also. But then it's not just working. I have deleted stuffs that would make me always remember physiotherapy so I can concentrate on this course. But then it's not seeming possible. Worst of all, the constant back and forth with these strikes wasn't really helping matters because I felt like time was going, and then I needed to act fast and get done fast. So I can probably go back for physiotherapy once I'm done with this. The strike gave me the opportunity to think beyond Nigeria and probably apply to schools over there. I'm guessing she meant abroad for undergraduate studies. But then difficulties in getting the right school that is going to accept me due to the long year gap in between my WAEC results and now. And then how not so strong the result is. I'm guessing probably she has graduated now from the course, and the gap in our WAEC and our result now is not so good. And how to find myself even if I finally get the opportunity. My question now is, what do I do? I am so sorry this is a long one, but then I just want you to understand where I'm coming from. Thank you. So it's fine if you cannot answer now. You can just ruminate on it, and then we can come back. I don't know, or let's see what you say. Should you take it now?
You can give the response now.
Okay. I think this is a very personal one, and I really hope the person is on this call or watching on YouTube. And I feel like, yeah, it's gonna be addressed. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a very relatable question, because I also experienced something similar, because in my case, I came to the university to study different courses. In fact, I enrolled to study applied biology and genetics. I was interested in genetic engineering, but I was given microbiology, and I particularly did not want microbiology. That was just one course I didn't want.
Why?
I was given microbiology.
Why?
No, I mean, I thought genetics was more interesting, exciting, genes and all. So when my course was changed in my second year, honestly, I was about to give up. So I understand what this person is going through, but let me tell you how I was able to overcome it. So the reason why you give up is that you see this course, this new course, as a detour from the path. So you are trying to get back to the path. You need to change how you see this course. See it as a means to an end. So I changed my perspective about microbiology. I saw microbiology as a means to an end. You understand? So, for example, I know industrial chemistry and physiotherapy appear to be entirely different. And if it's not possible for you to change, if it's too difficult for you to change your course to physiotherapy, and if it's too difficult, you understand, and you have to excel in industrial chemistry. That's, you have to graduate with good grades in industrial chemistry. What you can do is change how you see industrial chemistry. Now, you need to see how you can view industrial chemistry as a means to your pursuing physiotherapy. That is, see what aspects of industrial chemistry could be relevant to physiotherapy. In physiotherapy, there are certain chemicals that are required for some of the processes. There's some other things too that are also relevant to that field. So when you see those similarities, what happens is that you're able to transform your transfer your passion from physiotherapy such that it also touches industrial chemistry, and you have the drive to excel in industrial chemistry, depending when you choose to completely now move into physiotherapy. You understand? Because if not, you'll be so drained, and it will be difficult for you to even make any progress at all. You understand? So that is something you can. And for me, for example, now currently in my school at Hopkins, my program is molecular microbiology and immunology, right? But my research is purely genetic engineering focused. Purely genetic engineering. So I'm now doing what I've always been passionate about. You understand? So if you are someone in that situation, you need to see how you can see that course you are doing as a means to an end. The end, in this case, being your desired course of study. So that will help you to make progress in that course, depending when you choose now fully go into that, what you're passionate about.
Yeah. So there was another one that was added. Like, she was like, okay, the person was like, let me not generalize. I don't know who's asking. So the person was like,
it's being your desired course.
Yeah, the person was like, this strike gave me the opportunity to think beyond Nigeria and probably apply to schools over there for undergrad studies. But then difficulties in getting the right school. When I mean over there, I'm guessing the person is saying apply outside Nigeria, maybe. So, but then difficulties in getting the right school that's going to accept me due to the long year gap. Maybe the person has finished industrial chemistry, I'm not sure, but wants to go back to therapy as an undergraduate.
Yeah. So what I would say is that you don't necessarily have to go back for an undergraduate, because it's more difficult to get funding for an undergraduate degree. And also look at the years, 4 years on an undergraduate degree. It's more difficult, more expensive and everything. So what you could probably do is to look for a master's in physiotherapy. And if you can gain relevant volunteering experience, in this case, volunteering research experience in something physiotherapy related, you understand, if it's for a master's, that could probably help. You understand? An undergraduate is not out of the picture if you want to pursue an undergraduate outside. But if you are looking at countries like the US, for example, it's probably going to be a lot of money for the US. So you might want to consider countries like maybe in Asia, some other countries like in Europe, countries like Cyprus, other countries, they could provide more affordable education if you're unable to get like a scholarship for maybe physiotherapy in bachelor's. If not, just continue with a master's. With a master's, you should be able to write some of the licensing exams and then practice physiotherapy in that country. So that would help.
Thank you so much, Paula, for that answer. I'm sure the person would listen to this and would take one of the things and towards a career development. But I know there are one or two questions in the chat. I don't know if Faith could pop them out and
yeah, sure. I could.
Faith, are you there? Can you please, like, there's one from Sophia, I guess. Is it a question?
I guess it's a comment.
It's a comment, right? Okay, not a question. Okay, it's a comment. Oh, so like, please, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hands up or drop them in the chat box and all. Please don't leave us. We still want to engage you, so please, as we move on to the next speakers, please would indulge you to please hang on with us, because we still want to bant and rant, and we want to tap into a lot of experience when it comes to that particular time. So without much further ado, Faith, please could you bring up like the undergrad speakers quickly, their biography and all. Yeah, over to you, Faith.
Abdurrahman.
Hello, Faith, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so you could just read their biography and kind of keep them before.
Abdurrahman Adekunle Adeniji. So he's one of the undergraduate speakers that would be telling us about what he did during the ASU strike, his achievements, and also give tips or hints to other undergraduates on what they can do to fill in the gap space. So, all right, Abdurrahman Adekunle Adeniji is the Dean of Young Innovation Leaders Fellowship and currently pursuing his undergraduate degree in public health, epidemiology, and biostatistics at the United States International University Africa under the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program. He's an ambassador of the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, a research fellow at All Health Magazine Organization. Among other things, he's passionate about leadership, innovation, public health, and research. He's a proficient writer, editor, and translator who, with over the years of experience in the communication industry, he has published articles in different scientific journals and newspapers, including Elsevier's Annals of Medicine and the Nation newspaper, among others. Abdurrahman is a versatile young African leader who is committed to growth. Can we make welcome Abdurrahman Adekunle Adeniji with a clapping ovation?
Hi, before I begin, just a quick mic test. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. And also, I want to use this medium to appreciate the organizers of this event. The significance of this kind of programs in the lives of students cannot be overemphasized. And as well as appreciate the speakers that have spoken before me. That was massive, really. I mean, I was really jotting down and I was making full notes.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, as in, all right. I believe my task here is quite simple, which is to tell my story or a bit of my story for the sake of inspiring other young colleagues. But the difficult part of it is that with this limited time, there's so much facet of my story I could tell, so it becomes kind of difficult to schedule which one. I mean, I could come here and tell you the story of how I was able to secure the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, or how I was appointed as the Dean of Young Innovation Leaders Fellowship in partnership with the African Union, or even how I was admitted into 2 different Nigerian universities on top of the admission list in both scenarios and left the first year studying MBBS, obviously, and left with 5.0 in both situations. So, and a whole lot of all these things. But the point is to express, not to impress. I think that's a paraphrase of Emmanuel's wedding. So to express the possibilities of all these things, it's not because, to be honest, there's really nothing much you are getting from the impression side, rather than expressing this and having people do more than that. To take an holistic approach then into my story, I would begin from something that has also put me in a reflective mood recently. Like 2 weeks ago, I received 2 recommendation letters from some of the people that I so much look up to. And one of them is a senior postdoc at the University of Michigan and done a lot of amazing things. The other one is a public health professional and has done multiple work with the MIT Sloan Business School, and all of these amazing people that you look up to. And the crux of their recommendation letter, I mean, they wrote these things independently. I don't even know whether they know each other, but the 2 of them, they were pointing to the same thing in that recommendation letter. I was so emotional reading it. And it was the fact that they established that they have never met anyone within my age bracket who has so much efficiently combined academic excellence with leadership and service. And I'm going to go public with what is that age bracket. I turned 19 this October. So I'm definitely very young, and with respect to some of these things that I've been fortunate to have done. So personally, then I also started looking at how did I get to come here and all of that. And I can relate literally with the stories from Okulu and the one from Emmanuel. I feel like I'm like the younger version of the 2 of them combined in addition to every other thing. And I think that's the whole point of all of these things. So it's like what they are saying are the things I'm currently living. So to go a bit back into my own story, I won't go back to my primary school and all of that because I mostly can't remember. It was just a typical kind of smart student thing. That was it for me. So apart from 2019, that's when I left secondary school. The major thing there was, apart from being the senior prefect of my school, I didn't go to a fancy school, okay? I went to a school that was supposed to be a private school, but then we paid 15,000 per term. So just imagine whatever picture of school comes in your head where they pay 15,000 naira per term. So that's the kind of school I went to. I mean, they tried their best, but there's only so much you can do. So I was the senior prefect. I was at age 15. I left high school, at the age 15. So I was the senior prefect of the whole school, and that taught me a whole lot on leadership, because imagine the kind of student in the school, imagine the hooliganism and all of that, and being responsible. I was literally the youngest person, and then I was the one tasked with so it was so amazing. But on the academic aspect of it, one of the major things, let me also delve into the aspect of academic competition, was InterSwitch Spark. And now, before I move on, this story, basically, I want you to draw out 3 things, okay? So it's a story of self-motivation, how I was personally motivated and obsessed with these great things. And then the story of self-discipline, which is required for you to move on from just being motivated. I mean, a lot of people went these amazing grades, but not a lot of people gained them. Just like Okulua mentioned, that's what greatness is. Are you willing? Can you pay the sacrifice? Are you willing to do that? So the story of discipline, and then on the side, which is the third thing, is the story of resilience, which is, from time to time, life will decide to hand you lemons. So you should learn how to make lemonade from it. So that's the whole thing. And I won't go about maybe highlighting or pointing. I'll just tell the story. I would request you to pay as much attention as necessary for you to figure out and pinpoint these areas out of the story. Okay. Yeah. So InterSwitch Spark. InterSwitch is quite popular. You might have heard of it at some point. If not, at least you probably know of Cowbellpedia. So Cowbellpedia and InterSwitch are organized by the same people, just different sponsors. You can literally go on YouTube and check all of these fancy things where you got to answer like 15 questions in 45 seconds and all of that. And so my school wasn't a fancy school, and it's not just not a fancy school. It's a school without, we don't even go to competition apart from, the local quizzes. I could remember when it was time for InterSwitch, it was I and my friend that we usually pay attention to those things. And then we realized that there is this competition. And what we did was we went to the school principal that you should register us. My God, the competition was free of charge. But the only thing that was required was a school is meant to register you. You don't register yourself. And my school does not have an email address. I mean, they have now because we created it, but then they didn't have an email address. They could not register us as a school. So we had to be the one to create an email address for the school. And I could remember we registered on the very deadline of that competition. We registered on the deadline, the day the registration of InterSwitch Park was closing. That's the day we were able to register. And what happened was we were meant to write a national qualifying exam, so which was meant to be done in Ibadan. Because I am from Oyo State, I live in Shaki. So, to travel from that Shaki to Ibadan, which looking back at it now is just something like, like a stone throw. But then we went through a whole lot before the school could going there to do the national qualifying examination. But I won't go into the intricacies of that. Eventually we went. So out of like 30,000 plus students who wrote the national qualifying exam, InterSwitch picked the best 81. And when the list of the best 81 came out, I was number 6 on the list, and there was another guy from my school. Now, this is where it all started. What came after that was that we were camped for 10 days, in a 5-star hotel somewhere in Lagos, and then we were doing all these fancy things. Basically, if you know the trend in competitions in Nigeria, you know the kind of schools you expect, schools like Ambassadors, Scholars Apt, Universal, GC Memorial College, like this kind of schools whereby the amount of money they pay in a term could finance my whole education through my own secondary school. Now, so I was there among the best 81. There was no bureaucracy because there was no teacher or anything. We just had the moderator. They allowed us to interact. At that point in time, I really didn't know what was going on. I was just there focused on that academic and the competition, but it's really boosted the confidence. Like I literally was there with, it mentioned everything that eventually came out after that, all this competition, top jam score, which I eventually was fortunate to be part of and all of that. So I just knew these guys, like it's mentioned anything in academics around myself in Nigeria. So I had related with all of these guys. So from 81, I made it to the 27 semi-finalists. Unfortunately, I made it to the 9 finalists in the whole of Nigeria, and it was all just amazing and fine and sweet. So that was the journey of InterSwitch and how the whole confidence of a thing has started. Basically, we all studied academics and we were like, cool, there are a lot of local champions. But then I had the opportunity to prove myself at the national level, in addition to all of the local things that we've done. So going back to my school, I did WAEC in SS3, obviously. And before I did WAEC, and I had 5 A1s and 4 Bs. But before I actually did WAEC, I had written GCE in SS2, and I had 3 A's, 5 Bs, and 1 D7. Guess what subjects? I had a D7 in English. And that's because we were under the notion that you do not study English. The same way people say you do not study math and all of that. I mean, that could be a thing, which I don't believe in. But possibly, if you go to a school where you speak English and you relate in English, it might be easier for you. But I went to a school where we basically speak Yoruba. Like, I just gave you the demography of what my school looked like. So I failed woefully. I mean, I did so well in all of the other subjects. SS2 did GC, and I didn't even have a C. I just have A's and B's, and the next thing in English was D7. So I learned my lesson. That's a whole story about resilience on its own. So I learned what I was supposed to do. I started studying English. I could remember all these books, The Invisible Teacher by Lilia Shada. And I just got those books and read them like back to back and all of that. And then WAEC came, and I did my WAEC, and I had 5 A's and 4 B's. Looking back at this, I could have done like a whole lot better, but that's I'm proud of it, and it's just fantastic for someone from that background. That was the WAEC. And then UTME, I did my JAMB, and I had 296, which I was so frustrated about then because a lot of things happened then. I don't know, but if there are undergraduates here, you can probably relate with how JAMB is. You probably get to the exam center and the generator is not starting. Instead of using 2 hours, you were told to use 1 hour, 30 minutes. That was all what happened to me. And if anybody remembers, 2019, animal husbandry in WAEC clashed with JAMB, and nobody did any frigging thing about it. I did not write theory for animal husbandry in WAEC, a whole 80 marks, and I lost a whole 80 marks, and I ended up having B3 for that particular exam. So, and then that same jump was like 296, a fine score, definitely. I mean, I won't speak low of it, but I knew, the level I was balling at then. So, and again, to set a bit more of my own personal background, I had been this person who has always been inside. So I was fascinated by this idea of freedom by the time I was going, leaving secondary school. So I wanted to go into the far north. I wanted to go to Sokoto, which was very weird. I mean, if you are in science and you're like very smart, it's kind of set. It's either you're doing medicine or engineering. Though I wasn't forced, but the system was kind of, to be honest, I won't go into the details of that, but I believe the system is kind of manipulated. I mean, now I'm studying public health, but what the heck is public health? I didn't even know what public health was then. It's just medicine and all of this. So yeah, it was clear I was going to study medicine and I was a good candidate for it. But instead of choosing school like University of Ibadan, OAU, that's, if I'm from Southwest, that's basically the school that people will choose. And then I decided out of nowhere I was going to Sokoto. And then Sokoto did not require us to write post-TME. You just have to choose them on JAMB list and you wait. So at that point in time, I was going to get admitted because I already had confirmation and all of that. But during the period of waiting, someone just reached out to my mom and was like, okay, LAUTECH, which I didn't even know what the heck LAUTECH was. I just knew there was a university in Ogunwosho in Oyo State that used to strike a lot and all of that. So, but then that person told my mom that, okay, they allowed people to write post-TME without choosing them on JAMB list. So LAUTECH was not anywhere on my JAMB list. I didn't even know a thing about this. But if you were me, I think try to picture this. I was this guy coming out of secondary school, all this academic geeky. At any site of examination, I'm excited. I'm like, oh, there's another opportunity to go and show this thing off or go and blow this thing. And I went for the post-TME. That's exactly what I did. Okay. So when the list came out, I was like number one on the list in terms of the post-TME and in terms of the aggregates, because my work was just A's and B's and my JAMB was beautiful and then the post-TME was amazing. So I was like, on top of the admission list, I did not pick the school on JAMB. Now, before they would give me admission, I was requested to switch to them, which I was having a conflicting opinion about. I was like, no, I didn't want to go to this school. I only wanted to do the post-TME and all of that. But then I consulted with the people around me, and this is another lesson. I mean, definitely at that point in time, I do not have access to all these guys in MIT and Michigan that I do stuff with now. But with the limited knowledge within the environment, I tried to immerse it, and eventually I concluded on going to LAUTECH. When I went to LAUTECH, I loved it. It was amazing. There's a bit of noise. So when I went there, it was really amazing, and I loved it a whole lot. Another interesting thing. Now I'm just trying to chip in a lot of things. It's for you to derive the lesson, and I hope I'm not taking too much time already.
Okay. Let me come in at this point. So I think you need to fast forward, go straight, to the whole thing, how you were able to achieve, get the MasterCard, how you were able to what inspired you? Why did you choose to apply for the scholarships? What's made you got to all this point? What made you achieve all this? If you can just quickly tell us something about that in 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, sure. Basically, I would say it that feeling of wanting to do more and just knowing that I can do more than this, and I won't allow the condition, the environment to put me down. Even if it has done it successfully, I would go back and do it again. So, and it's basically because I've done it before. So when I was in LAUTECH, I decided to write JAMB again. There was no reason. It was just because I wanted to do JAMB and I had this freedom of money. JAMB was just like 5,000, and then I decided. Then I wrote the exam and I had like 99 in physics, 97, and all of these amazing scores. And then, so the whole lesson from that one was that actually, because I didn't give up on JAMB, I didn't know what I wanted to do with JAMB even when I wrote it, to be very honest now. So, but then it went really well. So that's when I basically learned that lesson in practical fashion, that despite the fact that I'm somewhere, if I really want to go to the next place, I can actually do it. So, and that happened in February. I think there's this funny thing about February. February was after that was when COVID-19 happened, and there was all this paradigm shift that happened when I was at home, taking courses, reading and doing all of those stuff. And the same thing, February 2021, when I was already in University of Ilorin again, that was the same time that the strike was beginning. I could remember I was writing my final examination, and then there was this, they started to slash our timetable, that instead of going for the exam today, the lecturer go on a one-day warning strike. 2 day warning strike, that kind of thing. And I was frustrated. And that was the time I came across the MasterCard. Definitely, I knew about scholarship, Nigerian scholarship like NNPC, Total, and a couple of them that have won because of all these nice jump results. So, but then this was a whole different thing. Even when I saw it and I was looking for courses to apply for, at that point in time, I knew that, yeah, I'm not so into medicine. I mean, yeah, medicine is a great thing, but I felt, because I started doing extracurriculars, I felt more connection with public health. Then I saw epidemiology and biostatistics. I was like, what the heck is this? I didn't even know what that was. I mean, I know the meaning of epidemiology, but what is it that's it? So I started like searching, and then I feel this very connected to it, and I felt like this is exactly what I wanted to do. So with that conviction, I went straight in, write my essays, confirm my feeling, my emotion, and the experience I've had in the past with all this leadership stuff, because MasterCard is very big on all of this. And so pulled it together. I threw in the application in February, then the strike happened. I was back at home again, just like every other person. I was trying to do all the things I could do. And then the interview came, I prepared for it, reached out to people on LinkedIn and did again. So I think the whole story is about recognizing that you can always reach as far as you want to if you are willing. First of all, be motivated, right? Because if there was no motivation, there's no point in doing it. And then be willing to put in the work, because it gets really tough at some point. And then sometimes when it doesn't work, so be resilient enough. So in summary, it's just a story of motivation, discipline, and resilience. So basically that's it. There could have been a whole lot more, but I think that should be of significant importance. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abdurrahman. Somebody was raising their hand. Okay, so I think we should move to the next speaker before we now have some random questions. Question, is that fine?
Yeah.
Let's move to.
Can you project this project so Faith can read?
Yeah, Collins.
Yeah, Faith, do you want to read this? Yeah,
all right.
Collins, are you on this call? Oh yeah. Oh sure. Okay. So Faith, please go ahead.
All right. Collins Akinujumu. Sorry, my mother that name. I'm very, very sorry. He's a 300 level student of political science at Adekunle Ajasin University, Akongba, Akoko, Nigeria. He's a student researcher who has co-authored a paper on insecurity challenges in Nigeria. He's focused on international development, relations, and diplomacy outside academia. He's a passionate social activist who sees community and global development as a key responsibility. He's a member of one campaign, Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI, and advocates for community and global issues with a keen interest in SDG 1, 4, and 16. He has undergone several leadership training in his area of interest, some of which include SDGs, a transdisciplinary vision for the future, Rotary Positive Peace Academy, Art of Activism. He organizes and participates in workshops and seminars that trains and develop potential young leaders. He also belongs to other leadership and professional bodies, such as the National Association of Political Science Students, NAPS Nigeria. He's a member and alumnus of the USA-based Center for Artistic Activism. He is a campus ambassador at the International Model United Nations, an India-based UN-affiliated organization working towards achieving the United Nations Global Development Objectives. Conclusively, he is an active volunteer and studies Pan-Africanism. Please let's welcome Collins Akinujumu. Thank you so much. So please, you have 5 minutes to talk about your achievements during the ASU strike, how you were able to achieve all the things you were able to acquire during ASU strike, and also you can divert a bit to how one can volunteer, because you're a very good volunteer from what I've read.
Yeah.
So, before I continue, please can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry I wanted to show my video option. It was very dark in Nigeria. Basically, I want to appreciate the organizer of this program and specifically to Dr. Mercy. So we had a chat, and my name is Collins Akinjo for proper pronunciation, and I'm a general student at the University. So I and the host, we had a chat, and she asked about my progress and what I've been able to achieve in that process. So she was glad about it, and she requested I speak at this event. And honestly, I didn't take the opportunity for granted. So though since I was not given a specific topic to talk on, I actually prepared the slides to talk on the marginalizing undergraduate opportunity. But since everyone is talking about their story and how they get where they are, they actually spoke well and have actually been inspired honestly this evening. So I will just for a very few seconds I will just talk about my story and how I got here. So basically, my story started in secondary school. I grew up in a very rocky and ancient ignorant town in this state. So while I was in GSS 2, there was this sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You
So
want to
while I was
be brief about that though?
You said
You want to be brief about your story, your achievements
okay,
so
yeah,
far.
I'll be very brief. So what actually happened is that when I was in GSS 2, there was this issue in our school, and with our vice principal, and that day she offered a statement that we are not some set of students are not serious, and like somehow degrading us and relegating us to the crazy. So that actually inspired me, and at that time I made my mind to please achieve academic excellence than this woman. And eventually I set a goal because my school was established, it's a public secondary school, sometimes 1970s. So and since that time, no aspirant has ever been a senior prefect in that school. So that was my first goal, and I was able to achieve it when I was in SS3. So that is how it first started. And fast forwarding to the just of the strike, the strike has been a whole lot of in summary, I would describe the strike as an eye-opening period. When the strike came up in February, it was just like a normal warning strike. Recently, I published an article, one of the national dailies on ASU strike. I tagged it ASU strike, the projection of life after school. So it was, students perceived that a normal warning strike and everybody was glad to go back home and it's the hope of coming to school anytime soon. But the story took another phase and it went on and on for almost 8 months. So during this to volunteer with some organizations, with International Model United Nations. I was able to intensify my interest with uh, the body in charge of my course, which is International Association of for Political Science Students. And also, I forget to say this while introducing myself. I'm currently serving as the Nigerian country coordinator for the International Student Political Science Students. And here I work to as an intermediary standardizing student of political science and studies with the association, and I organize and coordinate the works of IEPF in Nigeria. So this period of strike gave me a whole lot of opportunity and enough time to advance my social works and my volunteering skills. So I'll just go straight to what I prepared here in very few minutes because I don't want to stay far behind my time. So I said maximizing undergraduate opportunities. And I said, what do we mean by undergraduate opportunities? So generally, we know what an opportunity is when I was willing to make the things possible, make it possible to do things. But I think I am more interested and I like the way me and Webster puts undergraduate opportunities. Webster puts it as a good chance to advancement and progress. So undergraduate opportunities can therefore be put as an avenue to do certain things for the purpose of advancement and progress of the students while on campus. Then, what is maximizing undergraduate opportunities? Because as undergraduate students from this part of the world, from Nigeria specifically, it takes extra effort and some certain level of deliberate and conscious effort to attain some excellence academically and career-wise. So I put maximizing other opportunities as a conscious effort to utilizing available opportunities, to the maximum. And I expect the word conscious because we must be conscious about it. Then over time, I've been able to discover that the process of maximizing undergraduate opportunities is ascendable. That is in ascending order. It starts from the
Collins still here? Collins, are you still here? I guess he's having maybe network issues. We can just have the. I think we have one more undergrad speaker, right? Or is that all? Yeah. Before we move to the interactive session part, and then where we engage. Maybe while he sort out the network, I think he has mentioned some of the opportunities that we can tap in as from that. But I think Faith could just read the next biography for the next speaker. So we just get the story share from him or her, and then we move to the interactive session.
Okay, so before we have Collins back, so let's just go. Carry back.
Okay. Do I read this? Okay, let me just read this. Let me give myself the honor. Okay. We have Kariba Ibrahim. Kariba Adidoni Ibrahim is a first-year law student at the University of Ilorin, Kwara State. She is the class representative of her level and a budding law student with good advocacy and public speaking skills. Kariba has mastery of basic digital skills and has participated in tech programs. And she is a tech enthusiast. Great. She has also volunteered for different courses and organizations. She has taken part in internships, webinars, and mentorship sessions and competitions, and is also a campus ambassador for several legal organizations based on recommendation and competence. Wow, that's a lot. Karibat is an associate of the Legal Ideas Forum and a member of the Law Students Association of Nigeria, LawSon, Bar and the Student Union of the University of Ilorin, SU, Bar and other organizations. Currently, she's interested in intellectual property law and technology law alternative dispute resolutions, ADR for short. You're welcome, Kariba. You have the floor. You've done so much as a first-year law student. So we'd like you to come share your experience with us, your transition.
All right, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, your transition basically from high school to uni and how it has been for you so far. You're welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been kind of a journey that I'll discuss with anyone that cares to hear anytime that I have the opportunity to discuss my journey to university and everything. Starting from when I graduated, others were admitted, I was at home, and people were like, she's the best student in her class, she's this and she's that, and she's not admitted yet. So during that time, I used my time very well, which I knew. So upon getting admitted, I wasn't sure if I would make it through university. I was like, I'm still young. I did not know that there were people younger than I am in school like that. So when I resumed, everyone turned to me that I knew better than them because I was scared that I might fail or something else might happen, that anyone would just feel like, oh, this guy is not really doing well. So I made my research from seniors, from upperclassmen, everything, Google, YouTube, and everything. I made researches on how things should run for a university student. So from there, my LA legal advisor, she spoke with me and was like, are you sure you've not been to a university before? Because the way you interact, the way you talk with people, the way you coordinate yourself, you are like someone that's already been there. So she implored me that I should take the post of, let's say, the class representative of my level. I was like, wow, I have older students. And it was pleasing because I was able to know that this is my path. This is what I should do. I took the responsibility and I managed the study life balance, as I would always say. I would always tell anyone that cared to ask or that I want to tell. So during that, I coped in school and I really did well. I went for competitions. I went for different things that an 100 level student would not do because of the fear of not getting behind in their studies and everything. So straight after exam, ASU strike and all. ASU strike, the first month was like hell. I was at home, I did chores, I did everything. You know, as we always say, we wash plate, we do this, we do that. So it was a bit too, it's not something I like. So someone messaged me, one of the upperclassmen is a learned college, like people that I know. He messaged me saying that, yes, I'm on to ASU strike now. During the ASU strike, how I made everything, how things went for me. So during the ASU strike, I the second month, someone messaged me that I should try taking up courses or internship in schools and everything like that, in law firms rather. So I searched. Google is my friend. Google is my friend. I do basically everything through research because I went on Google and I looked for law firms near me. So looking at the first one that is nearer to our home, I went there without anything, without recommendation, and all. I went there, and when I got to the office, it was quite late. The interns and everyone, they were in court already. So when they came back, they met me, and I told them that I want to intern at this place and everything like that. Things start going well, and people started noticing that what I wrote on my status, what I post on LinkedIn or on some other social media pages, they feel like I'm really doing well. So they start recommending me for positions. They start recommending me for competitions, for different things like that. And from there, I kept on moving. I kept on moving. One of the recent 100 level of my school asked that what's my drive? What was keeping me moving? Was my drive? So I told that person my drive is one. I want to be that sister. I want to be that sister or that cousin to my younger cousin, to my younger sister, that they'll see, this is who I want to be like. This is who I want to tell my friend that she is my sister. So I want to be a model to my younger self or to my younger ones. And another thing that kept me moving is that I want to be outstanding and I want to stand out. So I told someone that every year, the Law School of Nigeria graduates over 5,000 students. And over 5,000 students will struggle to stand on their feet when they graduate. And I want to join the 5,000 students that will graduate in the year I graduate as a law student. So I felt the need that I should stand out. I should participate in things that other people do not do. In my class, I'll tell other people that if you really need someone to put you on the path, to set you on the path, I'm not perfect yet, but I can give you parts of internship, legal internship at law firms in USA, not in Nigeria at all, just online internship and others. People were like, how do you know these things? Because Google is my friend, YouTube is my friend, and other research sites, they are my friend. And I used to I connected with the host of this program through LinkedIn. I saw her post, said she can mentor students. I messaged her, though I was not that consistent with the path I wanted to follow, but I appreciated that I followed her and I took some of the tips that she shared on her post. Basically, most of what social media does for us, social media does a lot of things for us, but we do not know. At first, when I told you I was at home for a month without doing anything, I was on Twitter, I was doing nothing. I garnered 20,000 followers, 22,000 followers, doing nothing for me. But when I realized that things should be better, I show that I'm not just Koriba Tade doing it right alone. This is what I tell everybody. This is what people need to know, that everything you have, your resources that you have, you should be able to garner them and make them your stepping stone, your ladder to where you want to get to. So that is what is me moving. I made friends. I met lots of people that took me to the next level. And over the month, let's say over the month or over the weeks of ASU week, I got better. I got 3 times better. I read more books. I connected with more people. I read a book by this American author, Frank Ramos. I read a book by Frank Ramos. I messaged him. I told him I read your book. I cried. I told him some things about it, and LinkedIn is powerful. So I told him everything. He was like, "Wow, this is it. This is that," and we discussed. I told some people, they said, "Which juju am I using? That meet these people. How do I get on this platform to talk?" It is because I harness the resources within me, or resources that is with me, together with what is my drive to get me to where I'm going, or to get me to where I wish to be. So to undergraduate students, you should make sure that you know what you want to do. I'm still figuring it out, but I know what my drive is, which is to do well, to stand out, and to be a model for my younger ones. I have lots of cousins. I have a younger sister, so every one of them want to see the Koriba that is there. When I get invited to speak on radio, or to organize to moderate programs, or to anchor programs, or to speak to students in secondary school, because I've done speaking engagement with many secondary schools, public school in Ekiti, where I stay. So people be like, how do Koriba get to see these people? Because they see what Koriba is doing to make a difference. So make a difference and do something that people will see. People will see that you do well, and they will let you do well with inviting you to do well. That's just it. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Kariba. This is like, I mean, you are simply amazing, I would say, simply amazing. I mean, seeing just like a first year student to do all this, and with so much lot of knowledge and sense of direction, and it's amazing to hear you and to hear your story and all that. And it's a beautiful way to transition to the ASU and rant with all the speakers and all that. But before I do that, I want to recognize someone. I just spotted him, Ezekiel. Ezekiel is, when I saw, I was like, wow.
And Collins is back, though.
Collins is back, right?
Let him quickly talk to us about his slide. Please,
okay, Collins.
A few minutes, 2-3 minutes, please, if you can do that. Yeah.
I'm really sorry for the other time. That was the network fluctuation. So, like I was saying, I think I'm on the second slide now.
Yeah,
so,
I'm coming.
Okay.
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 This right?
So second, yeah. So, common undergraduate opportunities. So there are many of them. There are a lot of them, but I have been able to codify them for the purpose of this discussion into 4. So the first one I said, remote internship. There are a lot of local and global internship that takes place virtually and with time flexibility. Virtual assistantship, brand ambassador, to be a research intern, writing. There are a lot of them like that. And also leadership experience. This involves the conscious effort of taking leadership. Most of us, we are part of organizations, we identify with bodies, but we are somehow feeling not too free to take leadership roles. We should take them. Most of us, most of our graduates currently, the fear is that I don't want to be a public figure. I don't want to say that I'm too forward. If you want to be a career person, you must take leadership roles. Then third one is professional affiliation. Most of us will take professional courses, and without knowing that there are bodies taking in charge of the activities of students taking these courses. Find them, identify with them, and number 4, I said volunteering experience. This is one of the commonest and most important aspects of maximizing undergraduate opportunities. Look for volunteering organizations and bodies in your locality, online and offline. Volunteer with them. Then the next slide is about ways to maximize undergraduate. So I'm just going to read through this. Know your interest and be informed. In this current world, ignorance is no longer an excuse. So let's want to be on your own. Be deliberate, be inquisitive, and hard work. You must be inquisitive. It's not you are in an environment where people say it's too forward, that's too low. That's their opinion about you, not you. You must be deliberate about it. Read across discipline. You must be a voracious leader. So during the access trial, one of the things I learned is that you must, as an upcoming career person, you want to be a reputable scholar in your discipline or your career. You must know something about everything, and you must know everything about something. So that is very important. Then package and use of social media and this very well. This is very, very important in this 21st century, because without any doubt. The good use of social media has take people to places. It's like a form of recommendation, even without the opinion of the owner of those handles. Network and meet new people, get a career mentor. Getting a career mentor is also good. I heard one of the speakers, Opelua, mentioned that very important. During this strike, I was able to secure a career mentor. There's someone I've been following for about 2 years now. So I have to summon the courage. He works in Cambridge, he's a researcher at Cambridge, and I have to summon the courage to reach out to him that I want him to be my mentor, career mentor, because he works in my discipline, and his work has inspired me a lot over the span of 2 years. So I have so many courage. I don't even believe or hope he will accept it, because, and of course, he gladly did. So we must get a career mentor, apply for opportunities as much as you can, attend conferences and workshops that interest you, then be consistent and prayerful. Then lastly, where to find undergraduate opportunities as an undergraduate student in Nigeria. Just like the last speaker said, make use of your Google. Google is our friend. Opportunity desk, opportunity for youth opportunities. You go to your Google, you type this name to your search engine. Their names are similar, but they are not actually the same. So, but they offer same services. They bring opportunities closer to undergraduates. Millennium Fellowship. Millennium Fellowship just is an academic impact wing of the United Nations. So they have a fellowship arrangement for undergraduate students across universities throughout the whole world. It's an avenue to advance your leadership skills and to work more on your social skills. I work with ALX Africa, Side Hustles. These two are on LinkedIn. Then if you are a social activist or a passionate community developer like me, then you have to identify with one campaign, sign petitions, spread the activities, Yale Africa, then make good use of Twitter and LinkedIn very well. Then lastly, before I conclude my presentation, what has kept me moving over the time is my favorite quote, which is, one day I want to honestly say, I made it. Now, I don't know how this quote come, but that motivation, that quote has been keeping me right from secondary school. One day I want to honestly say, I made it. So you must have one source of inspiration. Once you can have this is going to stand as a propelling force for whatever engagement you are engaging yourself in. So thank you very much, and I'm glad to speak to Great Mind Editing. Thank you a lot.
Oh,
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Collins. I mean, one thing I got was like he said something on try to know something about everything. There's so many things to know about career development, about the passion, about how you can navigate your path and all that. And he has shown beautifully well how undergrads then can tap in from some of all these opportunities while being in school in the last slide. So as I was saying, like I think it's time to transition into like the what's it called? Since this event is for like undergrad and prospective undergrad, we need to talk about most importantly some of the post-HACCP effects that student might have. I feel like it's very important, and this is one part that I would like all the speakers to help address some of the questions that might be coming up. Feel free to raise your hands if you want to contribute. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and one of the co-hosts or co-moderators will read. Basically, we know that time is of the essence, and then the HACCP strike has really done a lot. It could be positive, it could be negative, depending on the person. So like I do know that a lot of students are facing, and people that would watch this debate, so it's beneficial to them. People are facing a lot of challenges, getting back to school, settling back into the academic lifestyle. People are having like gap years in CV. Some people did not really do anything during the HACCP strike. They were just like probably hoping that it would just get to an end sooner, but it took a long stretch. So like I will first of all start with the undergrad speaker, if Mercy will permit me. I want to know like how what this HACCP what like the post-HACCP effect is having on them, and how they are managing it. I know that like a lot of schools have resumed, but what are you doing to get back on track? how are you? What is your coping mechanism, right? Leaving school for like 8 months, I presume, it's no child's play. So like I would, with the permission of Mercy, I would give the floor first to like say, is it Kariba or any of the other speakers to like tell me your coping mechanism, tell me what the hassle, the post-hassle negative effect, if any, and tell me how what's your coping mechanism and what could be done. And then let's get the ball moving. Fitz, I hope you're there. Apollo, I hope you're there too. Ezekiel, it's so nice to have you to like tap on your words of experience too. And Mercy too. Yeah, so over to you.
Caribat,
if you can come on. Yeah. Is she there?
Caribat, are you there? Ibrahim.
Okay. Or any undergrad student here?
Abdurrahman, I don't know. Rahman, are you there? Okay, Caribat, are you speaking now?
I didn't get the word that I should.
Let's throw the question to Opolua before he leaves, please.
Okay, Opolua. Okay, fine. That's fine. Yeah. So probably Opolua can highlight the area of career gaps.
Yes.
I mean, sorry, gaps in TV. Because I know that this hassle strike has really, should I say truncated? That's the right word. You know, like when we hear like what's happening, how the government are passing balls, and how the whole system is just like, you have like, and what's happening? This is something that should not even stretch over time. And then it's at the detriment of students. You know, students have little or no control over the whole situation. And some students are just like, okay, it's gonna end like in 1 month, and 1 month comes, it doesn't end. So then it's 2 months, and the next month it doesn't end, and they're like not doing anything. And now they're back to school, and it's and I know like a lot of them are facing challenges in catching up, because obviously it's gonna be like classes back to back, or tests back to back, or exams like happening in a few weeks and all that. So many reading and all that. That I know for sure. So like do you like, is there any coping mechanism, like, because it could be overwhelming, you know, to having to get back into school and pick up ASAP. So like what would you say could be a coping mechanism for them? And also like, how do they fill up gaps in their CV if they have them?
Okay. So now regarding the ASU, let me just start with first of all addressing the whole ASU situation. You know, I know the ASU strike has been called off, right? But in case, hopefully there are no future ASU strikes, but it's almost inevitable at this point. So in case you find yourself in any situation where, you know, your progress appears to be interrupted by powers that are beyond your control, individuals in higher authority, such as the federal government, unfortunately. So what I would say is that there's a quote by Mark Twain that says that I do not allow my schooling interfere with my education. You need to differentiate between schooling here referring to attending classes, going to school, writing exams, and education. Education is how you learn about the world around you. That's the process of education. Is basically you learning about yourself as well as the world around you. So you need to understand that, you know, ASU and all the things around Nigerian education system, the schooling, should not interfere with your education. Now, when you have this mindset, it helps you to know how to approach your CV. Because if you understand that education is something that, you know, is a function of living, something you do every single second of your life, you understand that you know how to channel that energy, and with such a way that it becomes relevant to your CV. So, for example, you know, like if as a result of the ASU strike, you know, you have not been able to really acquire as much experience as you would have loved to, you know, and then you're back to school, and you know you don't really have so much time to really catch up on to account for the gap in your CV. One of the things that I think one of the things I think you could do is that I will mention like two things that you could do. One of them I will say is that you need to find, because when students come back, what happens is that professors too, because the ASU strike affected professors as well, but when professors return back, so what you see is that professors are as eager as students are to be more productive. So there can be a form of synergism here. So as a student, rather than just focusing on the situation, which is that you have a backlog of exams and everything, what you can do, I'm addressing like gaps, how you can fill up those gaps, is you meet your professor and tell your professor that, sir, I would like to volunteer to assist you with your research. Now, when you start as your professor sees you as an angel, because it's like, I've been praying for you, because that has to strike. I want to get back papers that I want to publish. That this, when you come, automatically you'll be at the center of his pursuit, and you benefit from that. And that way, you're able to catch up on things you have missed. Another thing also, if you volunteer, some institutes might have been closed because they were understaffed, because many of the professors were also affected by the ASU strike. When you go to such a lab and say, I would like to volunteer in the lab to help with any ongoing project, that can also help you to catch up, you understand? Then in terms of like how you be able to balance your time, how be able to balance your time as a result of that. One of the things you think of doing is that you think of creating a hierarchy of activities. So, and then the activity with the least importance in your life, you need to find a way to cut out those activities. And then you ration your time. That is, you allot time to things that are you allot the most time to things that are the most important in your life. So you get to a point where you have sufficient time for every important activity in your life. You understand? As well as being proactive. So that will help you. Then about the coping mechanism, I will tell you the best coping mechanism. I'll say two things. First is they are related. You need to have a community, supportive community in school. Now, I would then also add that there are two types. You can have your academic community. Now, it's really helpful because apart from social activities, which are very important to have a work-life balance. In Nigeria, we never thought of having a work-life balance. I didn't even know anything called work-life balance. We just pursued it and we just crashed into it. We crashed into purpose in Nigeria. But here, work-life balance is very important. So when you have that community, academic community that helps you, you have assignments, you do it collectively, it helps to like carry the burden. The second thing, religion is very important. So if you're a Christian, have your own community. You understand? They will support you emotionally by prayers, support you, go to church together, kind of thing. And then if you're a Muslim, to have that community, a religious community, you go to prayers on Fridays together, everything. That is a very, very useful coping mechanism.
Thank you so much, Agorolua, for that input. Do we have any other person, that wants to share his experiences, like with the hassle, like, how challenging is it for you, like, if you are currently in school, like, what are you facing? Like, basically, what's the challenge? How are you coping through? It could be like you could be a first year student, second year, third year, whatever. We just want to know if there's anyone on the call that is like having this post hassle effects, in finding something challenging. If you just raise your hand up, say something, let one of our speakers address the concern from the lot of experience. Yeah. Abdurrahman, are you talking?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Okolo said.
Sure.
Yeah, so even though basically I'm no longer affected by that because I'm not in the education system, but the pattern for me was I reflected on COVID-19. That's how I dealt with ASU strike. So it was more or less, they happened like around the same time for me.
Yeah.
So I felt like the first thing, just like the mention, is that you should recognize the things that are within your control and the things that are not within my control. So I did not base my hope on whether ASU is going to resume early or whether it's going to resume late, because I literally cannot control that. So I try to put myself in a position such that if ASU decide to resume today, it won't affect me that much and that kind of thing. Now let's assume it has eventually happened. So the first thing is to recognize that it's not going to be easy. I think it's very important to have that solid mindset, because recognizing that the task ahead is difficult would prepare your mind to do the difficult things. So it won't be the same thing. Now you are rushing to do exams and all of that. It's not going to be the usual way you organize your timetable. You will have to reprioritize. You will have to go on with intensity during that period of time. And then the last thing to make it quite easy is you should always recognize that there are some easier ways to do things like that. There are some things that for example, Okelua mentioned the issue of having a community. That's something very important. There are things that they are of significant importance to us, and when we need them most is when we forget them. So for example, at that point in time when you need that community most is when you probably feel depressed and all that kind of thing. And another thing you could do is to use things like YouTube. I say that YouTube is like a university on its own, and this is something that I've experienced a lot. I've got involved in a lot of extracurriculars at some point, lost track of academics, and then realized that, oh, the exam is coming and all of that. So instead of having to go through this bulky PowerPoint and all of that, I first of all try to understand what are the things I have to cover. Then you go on YouTube, you realize that by the time you watch like a 3 minutes, 5 minutes video, you've cracked like the main concept, and then you go back to the text and all of that. So it's just to be innovative with the approach, recognize that it's going to be difficult, and then be innovative with the approach, and have a community and all of that. So I think together with a whole lot of other things,
Okay, Collins is raising his hand.
Okay, Collins. Yeah, Collins, please do. Collins, please go on, mute yourself and tell us what you have for us.
Thank you. Yeah, just a quick reaction to that. I think as a student currently in the Nigerian University, currently in the Nigerian system now, one of the issues we are currently facing as a result of this prolonged strike is that I won't say most, but some of the lecturers have somehow become kind of more hostile. They become aggrieved maybe with the way the federal government has treated them. So they somehow make the work more complex, and they don't even care if the students are actually grabbing everything as they should. But I think what I can my suggestion for how to or the coping mayor is just that as a student we must know when we are most productive. Very, very important. Like me now, apart from my extracurricular activities, apart from my social works, when I'm in class in the afternoon with my friends, after all of that, I know when I'm most productive, when I'm being alone. Then there are some other people too, they have study group, they have a lot of things like that. So you must know when you are most productive. So that will help you a lot and give you edge ahead of others.
Thank you so much, Collins. I want to throw something. We're about wrapping up though, but I want to throw something to our speakers, anybody, like what to do when you have an hostile lecturer, just like Collins has said, how to in some cases, you could have a lecturer and then probably because you don't like him, you tend to keep failing that particular course just because you don't like the lecturer and stuff like that. Probably because he's hostile or the method of teaching is not really great and all. So to our esteemed speakers, what do you do when you in such situation? How do you deal with hostile lecturers or lecturers that are just not so good? In both cases, you would have lecturers that are very good, that when they teach you assimilate ASAP. And then you have the lecturers that they are hostile, plus they are not even good. So it's just like a complete turn off. So in this case, in this scenario, what to do? How have you done it?
Speakers, please. I've experienced similar things. So basically, one thing I've come to learn is you do not necessarily need to like your lecturer, just don't hate him. So I feel like most time when people say don't hate your lecturer, they forget to tell them that I'm not telling you to like him or he's your best man. No, some people are just not nice. So, but try as much as possible not to hate him. Be neutral and recognize that this thing is more on you than him. If you decide, okay, I'm hating on him and eventually fail, nobody is ready to listen to all those stories. So you should take the responsibility for that. It's going to be difficult. And I personally am more of recognizing that tasks are difficult, then because it's difficult, you put in more effort. So for a particular course that you find difficult, or a lecture that you find difficult. So it's just telling you that you need to do more. Probably maybe you're just someone who study alone and that's all. Now this is telling you that, okay, you need to study, you need to go to study group, you need to do a whole lot more than necessary. Just for you, it's a contract. Within that period of time, don't mess up and get it done, then you move on. It's a story you will tell some other day.
I know, right? I like the fact that you said it's a contract. So just don't eat it for that particular time and move on. So like we are the ultimate part of the event. We're coming to a wrap. So I would like Faith to bring up the next agenda, and then from there we'll move forward. Faith, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, so Faith, over to you. You have the floor.
All right. So next on the agenda now is awards, and I'll be introducing our host. She has been a wonderful person, and yes, Mercy is so passionate about making transgenerational impact, and that is what we can see right here today. She has organized several events, of which this is just one of the so many events she has been a part of. And I want you to know that there's also going to be another event next month, and you don't want to miss out of it. She's currently a doctoral student at the West Virginia University, USA, and she has been a genius, just like
Yeah.
okay,
getting it back to back.
She is a genius, and yes, 2020 she was the IC scholar, 2021 Commonwealth Chair scholar. So right now we'll be bringing her to the platform to give awards to those who have done meritorious works and they have actually deserved the award. So Mercy, you can have.
Thank you so much, Faith and Goshen. You guys are the best, I must say. And I really want to appreciate your efforts. Thank you for everything. Yeah, it's like I've been feeling sleepy because the week has really been long for me, but I really want to commend the efforts of Goshen and Faith for standing, in and helping support. It's not so easy. You can't achieve success, by yourself. You can't do it alone. You need people, and that's why I tell people you need to build quality relationships. There are relationships that you cannot, leave. You cannot slide. You have to just build it to make sure that you are on the track, to make sure you're making progress or achieving that set goal. Yeah, I have the idea. I have, what it takes to do it, but I still need people, right? So same thing as you guys. You still need people to keep you on track. You need people, you want to apply for scholarships, you want to do this, you want to do that. You need people to write recommendation. You need people to tell you what to do. If you're doing it all by yourself, you will not get to where you want to get to. So it's very important that you take responsibility for your life, and also like build quality relationships. Very, very important. And I want to say thank you to the speakers and to the audience. Yes, I know some people are watching on YouTube, while some will watch later. I know it's pretty dark in Nigeria. A lot of factors would have hindered some persons from attending, but I believe tomorrow the turnout, will be more. And we have a lot of people that will join tomorrow, and we have a lot of people that we also watch on YouTube. That is fine. The most important thing is that we achieve the aim of this event, and we'll reach out to, undergraduate students and prospective undergraduate students that are depressed, that they don't know what to do, due to the inadequacies in the educational system in the country. Yeah, we are just here to share your hope, to make sure that you're on the right path. Thank you so much for this. And we'll be I want to say thank you to everybody. You guys have been amazing. Thank you to Goshen, to Faith, to Collins, Abdurrahman. I knew I got to you very late, but you still showed interest. Thank you so much for that. Karabat, thank you. Okweoluwa, Emmanuel Unduka, we are so grateful. Thank you so much. And to everyone who have attended, yeah, thank you so much. So tomorrow is going to be an amazing one too. We'll be having Dr. Casey, Ezekiel, and some other undergraduate students in our midst. So you guys should make sure you get in here early. Yes, so that we can get the best. Make sure you're with your jotters, your pen, and everything. And I will be going now to the award presentation, to show my appreciation to the people who have done so well. Yes, we have a lot of people who have done so well, yeah, but we still need to acknowledge some persons, recognize them for their good work, how they, and for their response so far to this event. Thank you so much. I'll share my screen right now and do the award presentation as soon as I can. So sorry, I have Karabats, yes. So I'll just do it like this, the way it comes. So I'm giving this award to, this is my logo, and I should be launching it soon. I don't think we have the time to do that today, but the logo is so amazing, right? So
yeah, a good one.
now the designer will launch it tomorrow, not today. Time has gone. So yes, and I'll be presenting this to Karabat. So don't give up. Keep pushing, right? And keep the good work up, Karabat. You're doing so well. And this award presentation is to Karabat Adedoyin Ibrahim for their undergraduates outstanding award for doing so well during the ASU strike. Even though it was overwhelming, it was depressing, you still kept pushing on, and you are today. You are not giving up, right? So keep the good work up, and keep sharing your milestones with us on LinkedIn or to whoever cares to listen. And it's a good one. It's only you that can blow your trumpet, right? Yeah, so keep blowing the trumpets and keep telling us about your good works. Thank you so much, Karabat. I'll be sending, this is
I appreciate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is an award. I'll be sending to your PDF. You can share it on LinkedIn, share it anywhere. It has logo, it is legit. So, flex it. Do you get? So be proud about it. It's your good work. You get. Thank you so much for that. And I will be Collins has also been an amazing person. He's doing so well. Keep up the good work. This is to encourage you guys. You get. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Even though there might be stumbling blocks, there might be some hindrances to the progress, but don't ever give up. Do you understand? So a lot of things would have come, but don't worry. Life goes on. Keep pushing. Keep up the good work and keep sharing your milestones with us on LinkedIn or any other social media platforms. And if you care to also reach out to us personally, we are eager to celebrate you, and don't stop doing that. And this is presented to Collins Akino Jom. Sorry if I murdered that. I'm a Yoruba girl, but sorry if I murdered that. But I'm so proud of you, right? So keep pushing, Collins. I'll send the PDF to you. Share it on the LinkedIn, share it anywhere you want to, and we are out here to celebrate you. Thank you so much for this. And this is an award, right? Yeah, congratulations. Please, let's clap for them. They have done
Yeah. I mean,
let's clap for them. And okay, so Abdulrahman, I knew I reached out to you late, and you were still like, oh, you're interested, you want to do it. So I'm so happy. Thank you for doing so well out here, for your impressive achievement and contribution to the society. Keep up the good work, keep doing so well. Rahman has been somebody that has been sharing his milestones with me. I'll be like, wow, this is so amazing. What am I doing?
Like, what am I doing?
Even
Likewise.
even myself, I like, man, Messi, you have to, to step up your game. You have to work
Right.
harder. And Rahman has been so amazing. Anytime Rahman reaches out to me, I'll be like, oh, Rahman is ready to share something with
I'm
me.
like, what did I do when I was 19?
I know, right? So, Rahman, you have been so amazing. Thank you for sharing your milestones with me, papers you published. Please flex this award. This is looking so great. Thank you. Rahman, are you there?
I think he is.
I don't know. I'm not hearing him.
Don't be shy to talk, Rahman.
Oh, maybe short of words.
It's emotional.
I'm blushing. Thank you so
I
much.
know, right? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Apollo is not here, but I know I have to do this too. Apollo, thank you so much, for your amazing work out there. This is in recognition of your indefatigable impact in the society and appreciation of your immense contribution to this symposium. So we are so grateful for this. And yeah, keep up the good work, keep inspiring the undergraduate student, prospective undergraduate, and even with the graduate student, we need motivation. Honestly, we need motivation. So thank you so much, Apollo, for this. And this will be sent to your email. And Emmanuel Undukatu has been an amazing person out there, and we appreciate you for the good work you've been doing to inspire people, not to impress them. Like you said it's there to inspire, not to impress. Yes, so keep inspiring. A lot of people need motivation. A lot of people need that. They need the drive, they need a push. They know what to do, right? But a lot of factors around them are kind of weighing them down. They are depressed, they don't know what to do. But thank you for being amazing. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. And I'll be sharing this with you via email. That's the e-copy. Yes, I also want to, commend the efforts of two wonderful persons in my life God has given to me. Funny enough, I've not met Faith face to face. Do you know I've not met Faith face to face? Wow. Faith, and she has been so amazing. Like, it's like she's my sister. So I think as my sister, right? So Faith has really been so good. She has been so dear to me, and I'm so grateful to God for bringing you into my life. And yeah, thank you so much, Faith, for this is an award of recognition. I appreciate your valuable commitment and steadfast contribution to the success of this event, and even to other events that I've been having. At times when I have the idea just come out. Oh, let me speak with Faith. Let me tell her. And she said, okay, this is what
I know, right?
And
he's super supportive. Yeah.
Personal advice. Thank you so much for that. She has really been doing so well on LinkedIn. So please flex this thing on LinkedIn. Be proud of it, man. So thank you so much, Faith, for everything. From the depth of my heart, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And Goshen has also been an amazing friend. Funny enough, I had to meet Goshen, I think this year, right?
Yeah.
If not for that opportunity, maybe I wouldn't have met him anyways. But we've been a good person online. That is why I tell people, make connections. Well, he reached out for us anyways, but connect with people, build quality relationships. You will never can tell where the relationship will get you to. Like, you don't know. So on LinkedIn, feel free to approach that person. Oh, you might feel they might be too busy to respond. Yes. In fact, I have some messages I've not responded to. I won't lie to you guys, but still take that step of faith. But definitely I'll respond one day, right? As soon as I can anyways, but I'll still respond. But don't fidget, don't be scared that, oh, this person is a big person, she might not respond, or this and that. Reach out, take the bold step, reach out first. If you want to reach out to top person, somebody was like talking, saying something on the chat that I was about able to like reach out to those people, and they responded. Somebody was, I think I saw it on YouTube. Somebody was, you sure? And they responded like, but taking that step of faith is very, very important. And then just wait and see. what the Lord will do. So I want to say a big thank you to Goshen. Goshen has been so supportive. I got to know Goshen last year, right? Last year. And through connection anyways. And it has really been so good working with him. He has been so supportive.
Thank you so
personal
much.
advisor.
Like it will be nice if I don't say that. When I met you first on LinkedIn, I was blown away with like, oh my God, like the Commonwealth and everything. And it's so important to say that like what you post on LinkedIn was one of the drives to me applying for the scholarships. And then knowing that you did it too, I was like, okay, I can also do it. I remember I asked some questions that time too when I was applying and all that. And I was not even sure whether you're gonna answer me then. Well, like you did. And then, like the whole constant post and motivation were like shaping my dreams. Because like, it's one thing to dream and it's one thing to see someone who has been there before. So like I was tapping from your I didn't tell you this, but I was always tapping from your lifestyle, like how you were posting on LinkedIn and everything. That like one day, like this guy is gonna be there too. I know, right? And God did it, and it's been an awesome experience so far. Like truly awesome experience, even up to the point of when I wanted to travel and you were supportive and all, and still supportive. So I must say, like a big thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Relationship there. Thank you super much. I can't thank you.
Thank you, Goshen. Thank you for this. This is an award of recognition presented to Goshen David Mitsu. And we appreciate your valuable commitment and steadfast contribution to the success of the Undergrad in Africa Symposium 2022. Thank you so much. Please, let's give a round of applause to all the speakers, to all the awardees. You have done so well. You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. So tomorrow is another time. And I'll be sending the e-awards to you guys via email. And tomorrow is another time, and we'll be having the meeting with Dr. Casey, Ezekiel, and some undergraduate students. Please, I want us to come early if you'll be joining here on Zoom. I know a lot of factors. Undergraduate students, they want to get money for data, they want to do this, they want to do that, they don't have data, the network is not good. But we have this available on YouTube, so you can watch anytime you want to. The goal is to make sure that you are motivated, you are inspired by, and you keep pushing to make sure that your dream becomes a reality. That is very important. So once you have a dream, keep pushing, keep be in a circle of friends, of people that will keep pushing you. And that's why we are having this event, so you can meet with people. Some of the Abdul Rahman shared something now on the chat that some of the people that wrote recommendation for him and all that, he has not even met them before. So you can make great, you can make great connections, great, you can, make that quality relationship with people you've not met. Do you understand? The most important thing is that you have a drive, you have a purpose, and push, and push yourself to do it. So at times, sometimes I have friends that will tell me, you this girl, you're so brave. Where did you get this courage from? Where did you get this from? I'm like, well, it is what I want to do. It's just for me to take the step, right? And if I don't get any response, that is fine. The last thing you give me is a no, right? So I am pushing you, I'm, charging you to push, to make sure that you get to the acme of your profession, or you get to that peak. And I pray God will help every one of us. Most importantly, don't leave God out of your life. Don't leave God out of the journey. He's the creator, and we can, we can always go back to him to ask him what he wants us to do. What is our purpose here on earth? Very, very important. And So I'll be stopping here. I don't want to keep saying a lot of motivational speech.
Thank you so much, Mercy.
Thank you. So Goshen, over to you.
So like we've come to the last part of the event. So Mercy, can you give us some light music while we have like some of the attendees just comment, like tell us like what you think about the event. Tell us your expectations for tomorrow, and most importantly, tomorrow is a Saturday. So like I know that like people are probably tied up with classes in Nigeria, undergrad students in Nigeria, and so like many people would watch on YouTube later today. So, but then tomorrow you can remind your friends about the event. Come with one person. Don't be selfish. You can, as Messi said earlier, true success is when you see other people winning too, right? So like you and your friend can actually win. When you see something that is going to benefit someone else, tell them about the opportunity, share the opportunity with them. So tomorrow, respecting like you come with one person, come with your friends, come all. So like we want to have like people that are still on this call, just tell us what you think about this event. How it has helped you, if you gain anything from it, whatsoever. Just like comment. You can turn on your mics, just say something, give a word of motivation to people watching on YouTube or people that will watch later. And before we finally call it a close for today.
Abi, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
We would like you to talk. Abi.
Abi. We have Abi, we have Abigail, we have Favor. I've seen Favor in the chat commenting. Favor, do you want to say something?
Favor, do you want to say? She's one of our speakers, but let her talk. Favor.
Okay, Favor.
Please, who is going on first? We want to close the meeting soon.
Yeah. Favor, okay. We have Happiness too. We have
Happiness, do you want to say something?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Favor.
Good evening from this side.
Yeah, good evening.
So I must really say today was very, very fun and interesting. And to me personally, as an undergraduate, I've gained a lot of motivations, even enough motivation. And I think I'm very, very bold to like approach postgraduate applications and life after school. I must say this is very, very interesting and educated. Thank you very much, everybody that spoke. Thank you, Mercy, for organizing these events. I must really say this is very, very interesting and fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Favor.
Okay, do you want to say something? Okay, Abigail. Is Abigail on?
Yeah, Abigail, do you want to talk?
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, Abigail.
Good evening. First, I want to thank, I call her Sister Mercy because she's like my big sister.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for putting this up. Like, I really, really appreciate it. And it's been helping me through a lot. Yes, it has. And thank you for being, I don't know how to put it, like, thank you for being someone I can just reach out to. I still remember this afternoon, I was still telling her that we needed to discuss about some things. And then I was like, for now, I don't really have the time because of these exams and tests back to back. Thank you for bringing up this event. I really appreciate it. It has given me this vibe to strive for more. And from everything I've learned so far, it's the one I actually keyed into most was do not allow my schooling interfere with my education. And I think that was Dr. Okweoluwa who said something about that. Yes, Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abigail. My co-host, Faith, you ran away. You want to say something for the college? Please?
No, I don't have much to say, but I just want to thank everyone who has made it a point of duty or who has, created time out of no time to be on the call today. It's a great privilege because without the audience, there will be no event. That's
sure.
We appreciate everyone's efforts to be here this evening. Thank you so much. And we don't mind, please flex your award on LinkedIn.
Yes, so
I'm gonna flex it today.
Creative posts, what you've learned, what some speakers have said has inspired you to do more, to be better. Please put it out there on LinkedIn. You can tag us, you can tag the host,
tag ourselves.
Yes. And you can also drop your URL LinkedIn in the comment section if you're on LinkedIn, so we can connect with one another.
Exactly.
Make sure that all that you've learned today, you implement them. Implementation is key. You might have heard so many things, but if you don't make good use of all that you've learned, then you can't achieve that desired result you want to get. So implementation is very, very, very important. And please start to leverage on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good mind. I'm a testament of that. LinkedIn has a lot of opportunities. Those scholars, a lot of persons say they reach out to scholars and they didn't get feedback. If you have actually been doing something on LinkedIn and they see your profile that, oh wow, this person has been doing something, trust me, they would want to reply to your comments. But if your profile is blank, you don't even have a DP to show, even if you reach out to them, they might not want to, get back to you. So please, let's do what we want to get. And I pray that God will help us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Faith. So by the power vested in me by Mercy, if still vested, I officially declare this event
well done.
to a close. Thank you so much. And to all our YouTube videos, thank you.
Yes, our YouTube guys have really been amazing. I've been looking at some chats here, and I know some other persons with you and all that. Yeah, thank you. We'll see tomorrow, guys. So even if you've attended today and you want to come in tomorrow, even our speakers have spoken today, you want to attend tomorrow, that is fine. I think I shared the links with you guys. So please, I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thank you. Sorry for we planned for 2 hours. So tomorrow, I believe we will keep to time. It's very important. Thank you. Bye, everyone. I want to see your post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'll send it. Bye.
Right. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Congratulations, guys. Bye. Yeah, go share.
Yeah, you've ended the live session.
Wait, let me